Welcome to Oilers Nation Every Day with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
No other 31 NHL GMs. I understand that you don't want to claim Andrew Mangiapane, but maybe my good friend Queen Elizabeth II could change your mind. Huh? Let's get into it with the lead. If that's not enough, I actually have $55, and it could all be yours. Brad Tree Living is your boy. $55? That could buy you like one pizza at Boston Pizza. It's crazy prices these days.
Yeah, the economy.
Anyways, welcome into Oilers Nation Every Day. The offer stands. You have 60 seconds to decide, NHL GMs.
Shall we just sit here in silence and wait?
Dun, dun. Dun, dun. I wish we were like high enough media to be on the list of like, they send the email, right?
What list?
Well, careful. They send like every day at 2:00 Eastern, the NHL sends a blast email to the media and are like, here's waivers for the day. Now we have to wait. We're sitting here like cucks waiting for another media member to send out the waiver news. We can't even figure it out ourselves.
Come on, Elliot. Get the job done.
While we wait for that,
Finish it up.
Welcome into Oilers Nation Every Day. We're live from the Sports Closet studio. Will Andrew Mangiapane jerseys be half price today? I actually feel like they already are. Anywho, we're also brought to you by Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Come on, Elliot. What the fuck are you waiting for?
Ooh, this is interesting from Jason Gregor.
Jason.
1 minute ago, Szymanski and Howard will be recalled after Mangiapane and Regula clear waivers or are claimed. Howard's stall is up in the locker room between Podkolzin and Kapanen. Szymanski also has a stall in the Oilers locker room. Interesting.
They should have them. I don't understand.
Well, it's just we were speculating before the show that could this be a little bit of a paper transaction for one of Szymanski or Howard, but it sounds like they're both actually up. So that's interesting.
That's good.
Yep,
that's good. I mean, for those of you who don't understand, we'll get into a bit of the cap gymnastics shortly, I suppose. But they basically call up by sending down oh my goodness, Regula and Mangiapane, the Oilers can create enough cap space to bring up Howard and Szymanski. Mm-hmm. And after they do that, they will then likely put Mattias Janmark on LTIR.
Yes.
So if they add those two players, Howard and Szymanski, and had already put Janmark on LTIR, they would cost them, one of them's like 1.6, 1.4, and those would be their full cap hits. However, by then putting Janmark on after, both those players go back to what their salary would be, which is like 9 something, whatever it is.
We have a claim. Minnesota claims Robbie Fabry.
Oh, that's it?
That's it so far. We have not gotten the everybody else clears yet from Friedman.
How is this taking so long?
Come on, type faster, you guys.
Robbie Fabry, once a great World Juniors player, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he had some good NHL seasons, to be fair.
He did, and all of a sudden he's just become the guy no one really cares for.
I think it's a classic lesson where, like, even if you can score 15 goals in a season, if you cannot kill penalties or, like, be half decent at 5-on-5, teams just eventually get sick of you. Gregor? Breaking news. Dun, dun, dun,
they both cleared.
They both clear.
Why'd you do that, Aaron? Aaron, like, froze in the background.
I was trying to build the suspense.
So you didn't want the $55, did you? One of the other GMs. Darn.
I really thought we were getting it just based off that reaction.
So not overly surprising. There was some speculation, to be fair, that this Mangiapane thing may have been a way to kind of screw the player around with his no trade clause. Because keep in mind, so if Mangiapane would have negotiated a no movement clause, he couldn't even be placed on waivers. Yeah. All he negotiated was a full no trade clause. And there was some thinking that, hey, because this is something that the New York Rangers threatened to do with Trouba, and they did actually successfully do it with Barclay Goodrow.
Did they put Goodrow on waivers?
They basically said, yeah, we're putting you on waivers, and San Jose is going to claim you.
Oh.
Because he said he wouldn't waive to go there. So there was some thinking that, okay, Mangiapane, maybe Columbus has put their hand up and been like, actually, we want him. And this might have been something where it went in line with, and I'm just using Columbus as a hypothetical here. Columbus goes, Edmonton, we will give you Charlie Coyle at 50% retained for a first-round pick. Edmonton goes, well, you have to take Mangiapane. Columbus says sure. Edmonton says sure. Mangiapane says, I'm not waiving to go to Columbus. So they go, all right, we're going to put you on waivers then. And we think the Columbus Blue Jackets might pick you up. So there was some talk that maybe that was something the Edmonton Oilers were doing. This also, the fact he's now cleared, cements the fact that nobody is taking this contract off your hands for nothing.
Yeah.
He is a negative asset for the Edmonton Oilers.
I also don't think it's going to be one of those situations that we saw with Connor Ingram, where him going on waivers and clearing almost made it more beneficial for the Oilers and Utah to trade him and trade for him in the Oilers case, of course. But Mangiapane's contract's just too big. I mean, it doesn't harm it, I suppose, that he's now available to go through waivers, but I'm not surprised. Just on the Alec Regula front, I think this is a really good thing for him.
Yep.
I think he did well in Bakersfield. And again, like, I've been a harsh critic of him, but I kind of came around towards the end, and then we never really saw him play again after I came around the block. Him going to Bakersfield and playing some hockey games is a really positive thing. I think there is a player there, and then there's some decent potential. I don't know how high he is as at least an everyday NHL player, I would say.
The Bakersfield Condors, by the way, play tomorrow. They play a matinee at 10:30 a.m. I'm not totally sure why.
Probably one of those hockey games.
Oh, probably. But there is a world where Andrew Mangiapane, or Regula for that mind, but probably Mangiapane, where he could actually go down, play in that hockey game, and be back in Edmonton Tuesday night. I'm not saying he would play Tuesday night, but you could put him down there, play him one game, bring him back up. So to give you guys sort of the number breakdown of why Edmonton did this, because it wasn't just, I mean, there is one, Mangiapane. I think the idea of, hey, maybe someone will take him for free, that certainly exists. But the reason they did this, the cap reasons why they did this, if you call up a player on their entry-level contract while you are operating an LTIR, that player's bonuses get worked into their cap hit. And you can correct me if I'm saying any of this incorrectly.
I don't think so.
So if you were to put Janmark on LTIR and call up either Szymanski or Howard, their cap hits actually go up to $1.46 and $1.6 million respectively.
Because that includes their play-in bonuses.
Yes. So since you're not doing that now, you've cleared up enough cap space. Regula is $775. Mangiapane gives you $1.15 million in relief. So you're right around $900 or $1.9 million. That's enough now since you're not operating in LTIR. Janmark is still on your roster at this moment. You can call up Howard and Szymanski, and since they're on your roster and you aren't in LTIR, it is simply their $950,000 or whatever cap hits that count against you. Now you're cap compliant with Mangiapane and Regula in the minors, Szymanski and Howard on the roster. Now you can LTIR Matthias Janmark, and you actually have that $1.45 million to bring back up Andrew Mangiapane if you'd like to, or you could bring up Alec Regula, or you could now go to the trade market with $1.4 million in cap space, which could be enough for a Bobby McMahon or something like that.
Yeah, there's a question there from Connor. My goodness. Does anyone have some cough medicine? Jeez Louise. Connor Finch. So do bonuses ever count towards the cap? Like how sometimes they count towards next year's? I believe it's only when the team is operating in LTIR that bonuses count towards the cap. Again, I'm no cap expert, but assuming this, it's probably something along those lines.
It's to cut out a way to circumvent the cap, basically.
Yeah.
But yes, if Howard and Szymanski were to earn their bonuses and the Oilers don't have the cap space to pay them this year, it would be an overage that would count towards next year's salary cap. And that's happened a few times. Happened with Corey Perry, I believe, when he was here, since he was a 35
Connor
plus.
Brown.
Connor Brown's another good example of it.
The one other thing, too, for maybe those who are curious, Szymanski and Howard have the highest bonuses. So Szymanski, again, is 1.616, and Szymanski is 1.462. Everyone else is $1 million or lower. Jones, Josh Brown, and Calvin Pickett are all $1 million.
Yeah.
The other one in there that's somewhat necessary to mention, I guess. I don't think they're ever going to do this, but if Matthew Savoy was to ever get sent down, he would also work under the assumption that he was here before the LTIR. Yeah. He is 1.8 million in bonuses.
Yeah, so that's a really, really good point that I want to hammer home again. They do not have to keep Szymanski and Howard up the rest of the season to keep using this, we'll call it cap advantage.
Yes.
If they wanted to, they could send, and that's why we speculated maybe someone like an Ike Howard. This was done paper transaction-wise. They're just going to say they're bringing him up, send him right back down to Bakersfield. And then even though, again, they started going in LTIR when he's on the roster, so anytime he would come back up, you'd be good.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's it.
Should we... I'm going to put a poll.
I wonder, the only other side of this, which I'm curious about, maybe you can correct me. And I guess they're just going to do this, so it doesn't really matter. But probably is a scenario, isn't there, where if they put Janmark and LTIR today, which we're assuming they will, and Howard and Szymanski are on the roster, if they sent them back down, could they accrue cap?
No, because you can't accrue cap in LTIR.
Okay, and obviously they can't. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
I put a quick poll in our chat. Do you understand the cap situation? Yes. And then 2 options for no. Either no, keep explaining it, and if you vote that, ask us a question. Or no, I'll never understand it, so move on.
Yeah, the one other thing we should say, if Janmark goes on LTIR,
which we're thinking he will.
We're assuming he probably will. They made it seem like he will. He has 1.45 million. Now, obviously, there's the playoff salary cap in the LTIR. Pool is changed for the playoffs. You can't just use it all.
Yeah.
But in Janmark's case, you can, because his money is less than the league average, which is like 3.3 million, I think, or something like that. So the Oilers could use all of Janmark's money, 1.45 million, spend all the way up to that, then still use Janmark in the playoffs. As long as everything falls under the playoff cap,
correct,
they can use all that money. If, for example, Trent Frederick went out, they could not use all of that money because he's 3.8.
Someone said Canadian owners should just buy 20 mansions and give it to their roster. Isn't that a bonus that would never see the cap? Yeah, you would then get investigated and probably lose a shitload of draft picks.
Especially if you're the Edmonton Oilers.
Especially if you're the Edmonton Oilers.
Other teams could get away with it.
You got to
no
create
problem.
a tree planting company. That's the way to do it.
Yes, tree planting company. They all get part-time jobs at Rexall Pharmacy.
Mustard Tiger says, what's LTIR? LTIR is long-term injured reserve. It's when a player is going to be out for longer than 10 games in 24 days. You can put them on LTIR and get their full cap relief. Normal IR, for short-term injuries, you do not get any cap relief in that situation. But since the expectation is that Janmark is done for at least the rest of the regular season, the Oilers are going to LTIR him and use the cap space, very similar to what they did last year with Evander Kane. Final buzzer, why didn't Henrique skate today? He did, right?
They just made a typo on the line.
Typo on the lines.
That's how good he's been.
Well, yes. Someone said, get to the important news. When is Stone going on LTIR so Vegas can spend $5 to $10 million? So that's the last important thing here is you have to remember the NHL has closed that loophole. So there's now 2 different forms of LTIR. And I do think all of this, as much as we're really getting into the minutia of this whole LTIR thing, this is important because it's trade deadline week. And these stories are going to pop up. It used to be if a $10 million player went on LTIR, think of Kucherov, think of Mark Stone, even Evander Kane, the Oilers used it to their advantage last year. You could put them on LTIR, and then the day the playoffs started, you could activate them. And when they were gone in the regular season, you could use their full cap it. The NHL has since closed that loophole in 2 different ways. If the player makes more than league average, which is like $3.5 million this year, their LTIR space can only be up to that average number. So let's say, for example, the Golden Knights did put Mark Stone on LTIR because, surprise, surprise, he got hurt in their last game and left the game. They would not, in previous years, they would get his full $9.5 million in cap space. They could spend it at the deadline, and then on day 1 of the regular season, or in day 1 of the playoffs, they could reactivate Mark Stone and they're good. That's not how this works now. If they want Mark Stone to play in the playoffs, they can only spend up to 3.5 million of that LTIR space. And then you also have to remember that there is a cap in the playoffs now. It used to not be a thing. The 20 players you roster for the playoff game, the 20 guys who actually put on skates and play in the game, that their combined cap hits needs to be below $95.5 million. So there also is now a playoff cap hit that factors into this. And I think that's everything.
I think we got it all. I think that was a good little cap review from us.
There's our cap review.
Someone did ask how many LTIR spots you have. I don't think there's a limit. Yeah.
There's
a limit on retention and all that, which is 6.
3 for retention.
Isn't there one for buyouts too? Can't you only have so many? I thought it was 6.
I don't think it. If a team gets even close to that, I mean, they're probably pretty fucked anyways.
At least 3.
Yeah. The other thing for LTIR, like Dallas announced the other day, or it was rumored the other day, I should say, that Tyler Seguin's actually just going to be done for the whole season.
Yeah.
He's not going to play in the playoffs. So once you declare a player out for the entire season, you can then use their full LTIR space. So Dallas, because they aren't likely going to get Tyler Seguin back, they can use his full $9.8 million. But let's say Dallas makes the cup final, Tyler Seguin's knee is better.
Can't play.
He can't play. So they've closed up that LTIR loophole from what we've seen in the past.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect to Tyler Seguin. He's obviously not quite the player he was or supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think, in a way, I don't want to say this, so it's come out so distastefully, but like they kind of got away with it in a way that it wasn't like Rantanen. Like a guy with that much money, and they could fill in with a really good player still. It's not like they lost a top guy.
All right. Okay, I think we're good, everybody. I think we kind of got this thing sorted. Should we move on from this part of the conversation? Dave Pagnotta is going to join us at 12:30, 15 minutes. It is trade deadline week. And with trade deadline week means rumors. Everybody wants to know who's on the big board, who's on the block, who could get moved in the next 5 days, what every team is going to do. To keep you up to date on that, Aaron, show the people our new trade deadline ticker. Wow. Brought to you by Puckpedia. Tune in Friday, March 6th to the Nation Network's trade deadline.
Good timing for that to come up.
Yep. Bang, bang.
Let's see who's number 1 on the list. This is our daily face-off list, right?
This is our daily face-off trade board.
Okay.
Number 1, Blake Coleman.
Dallas.
Number 2, Robert Thomas.
Utah.
Number 3, Vincent Trocheck. Detroit.
Okay.
Number 4, Dougie Hamilton.
New Jersey Devils.
New Jersey Devils. Number 5, Braden Shen. St. Louis Blues.
LA Kings.
Ooh, good one. Justin Faulk.
Oiler.
Woo. Nazem Kadri. Avalanche.
Yeah.
Ryan Hartman.
Wild.
He's not going anywhere. Bobby McMahon.
Oiler.
And last one we'll do, Jordan Binnington.
Blue.
St. Louis Blue. Good work, everybody.
Blues. It's probably a song.
You've been singing a lot lately.
I know. Maybe that's my voice is gone.
Okay.
Shane Wright. I would take him.
I think you gotta. I don't think there's a fit, is what I'd say.
Okay.
Trade wise, like Seattle's gonna dangle him to try get Jordan Kyrou.
And that's fair. Jeremy Poirier was just traded.
I think that was like a couple weeks ago. I think that wouldn't even be the most recent trade though, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was like a while ago. I'm not sure why that one specific trade is in there, if I'm being totally honest with you.
Former first-round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
that was Emile Poirier.
Dacky is in with a quick question, then we're doing a game recap. Dacky says, is McMahon and Faulk a satisfactory deadline for you? I think that would have to be considered best-case scenario at this point.
I would be incredibly satisfied if that was the two players you guys got. Mm-hmm. I mean, at the end of the day, we just went through the top 10, and the Oilers are linked with 2 of the players on that top 10 list. I'm not sure what much more they could do. I think that's
cap-wise. Like again, we'll talk with Pagnotta about this, but like this whole Edmonton Faulk thing that seems to be picking up steam. Unless Mangiapane is agreeing to go there, But we're at a point here, even with Mangiapane and the LTIR space, we would still need the Blues to keep $1.5 million of Faulk's deal.
How long's left on his deal?
1 more year.
I don't think that's an unreasonable ask.
I would be asking them to keep 50% if they want to.
I would too, and I'd pay for it, to be honest.
Yep.
I think your blue line does get better with Faulk.
I agree. We'll save that for Pagnotta.
All right.
And we're doing mock trades later on in the show too. So we got a banging show.
If you got them, don't send them yet. just think about it for a little bit.
Okay, one last question, then we're getting into it, because can we terminate Mangiapane's contract if he agrees?
Yes.
He ain't agreeing to waive that $3.6 million check for next year and the final million he has to make this season. He's not agreeing to just put his hand up and say, I don't want $4.6 million in my bank account. I'll waive. He's not doing that.
It would be awesome if we turned into the NBA a little bit, where it's just like you can just buy out contracts mid-season.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Joe Johnson is now available after the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mangiapane's buyout, for those who are maybe curious, this is if he stays the full season or whatever, you can buy out the final year of his deal and you only save yourself $600,000 next year. At that point, you just keep him.
Yeah, for those wondering about the Nurse buyout, look it up in your own time.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. All right, game recap, because there was a hockey game over the weekend. Our game recaps are brought to you by Derek Dodge. It's the beginning of a new chapter for Derek Dodge as they are under new ownership, bringing a fresh approach, new energy, and a renewed focus on customer experience. And right now, they have an unbeatable deal. With every vehicle purchase, you will receive a trip for two to Las Vegas. Leave the lot with your new vehicle. You guys listening to this? It's a banger. Leave the lot with your new vehicle, and flights and accommodations for a trip for two to Las Vegas are on them. That is tough to beat. Derek Dodge, 6211 104th Street Northwest, or online at derekdodge.com. That was not a good hockey game. The Edmonton Oilers fall 5-4 to the San Jose Sharks. And this wasn't the loss to Anaheim, goaltending. And I even said, watching the LA game after the Anaheim game kind of made me go maybe this team is figuring it out. They just got dog shit goaltending in a game. I'll be straight with you. I'm not putting this on Connor Ingram.
I will slightly, because he
could have. The first one's bad.
It was idiotic. The puck isn't even out of your half of the ice.
I know.
And you're just playing to go get your it was just incredibly stupid brain thought moment.
Yep.
And I don't think the Oilers would play him well by any means at this point, but it's why? I know there was a question about offside. I didn't really ever find out why it was or wasn't.
I think it's because, watch, he pushes it forward.
I know he doesn't touch it.
Oh, no, I think that's offside. I don't know why.
Well, Jack just made a tweet and was like, it was not offside for those curious. I don't know. Either way, the goal stud. Anyway, if you showed anyone that highlight and just paused it before, you would think this was 2 minutes left in the game, and then goalie had been pulled. It's no, this was with 5 minutes left in the first. The stupidest play that we saw, honestly, since the Oilers have returned. And there have been some bad ones.
Can I tell you why? And, okay, that is a brain fart.
And I also agree with you that I would know what you're going to say. He must have stopped 4 or 5 breakaways in the first period.
The expected goals in this game, San Jose, according to Natural Stat Trick, had 3.94 expected goals. He gave up one more than expected, and I think we know which was the one that was not expected. So, again, I'm just not going to sit here, and this is an Edmonton Oilers team who is playing the San Jose goddamn Sharks. Mm-hmm. Put some respect on them. They're having a good year. Macklin Celebrini's a great story. Blah, 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 blah.
Lost 5 in a row coming into this game.
You got outshot 33-24 by the San Jose Sharks. You don't deserve to win. Could their goalie have stolen them one? Could they have won the game 4-1, 4-2? Sure, if Connor Ingram played out of his mind, absolutely. They didn't deserve to win that hockey game. If you want to take goaltending out of it, they did not deserve to win. Simple as that. Expected goals, 3.94 to 3.44. That's just not enough.
Yeah, I agree. I think the first period, at moments, it felt like you were watching a 3-on-3 overtime. With the amount
they just couldn't stop giving up 2-on-1s.
2-on-1 after 2-on-1, 2-on-0, whatever you wanted to do. And Ingram did play well. I shouldn't discredit him so much because I thought he played a fine game. The Oilers let themselves down, and so many points where it's you literally got a Trent Frederick goal. He was played very well, and we should give him a ton of credit. Him, Savoy, Roslovic, a couple other guys too, have all come back from the break, and I think have found their games tremendously and have hit the ground running. Good for them. But, man, your best players are letting you down big time defensively. McDavid, I think it was McDavid, Nuge, Bouchard, Hyman, 3 goals against just on Saturday.
2 of them in the third period, if I believe.
And the problem you have sometimes with those guys is that, they'll get you them back. Mm-hmm. But stop giving it away so damn easily.
I'm going to read you the 5 players who are on the ice when San Jose takes a 5-4 lead.
I know the 5.
Hyman, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Bouchard, and Ekholm.
The 4-4 goal was annoying too.
The 4-4 goal is
Emberson, Stasny, Nuge, Hyman, McDavid.
Yep.
And the problem on that one, Knobloch.
Can I read you who's on the ice for the third San Jose goal?
I know the 3 forwards.
So do I. Hyman, to be fair, had just gotten on the ice. Matt Savoy's going to change. Nuge had just gotten on the ice too, but it's 97. Listen, I'm not so stupid as to sit here and be like, this is Connor McDavid's fault or whatever, but this just illustrates to me, and I think this is the point you were making, your best players need to put in a much better effort.
Yeah, 100%.
Complete effort.
A more complete effort. And I think on what would have been the Wenberg goal when he's just like allowed in front, how both defensemen and Emerson and Stasny end up below the goal line is completely beyond me. Like, you can see Emerson's like a little hesitant to go, but it's like, dude, like, where is he possibly going to go? If he comes back towards you there, then sure, like, maybe attack it a little bit more, like, stay on level with the goal line. Like, there's no need for you guys both to be down there. And then, sure, Nuge can go there. Knobloch did say in his postgame, he's like, that's not the system. And I somewhat agree, where it's like, okay, if you're expecting a defenseman, but you should also read the situation a little bit, because whoever that defenseman is coming from the point, say it's Nuge's guy who's supposed to get him up top, whoever that defenseman is right there, what threat is he? Because you should be able to turn around and kind of get in a lane.
So I just want to pause this on a couple of spots. Let's pause it here. This should be a play where Connor McDavid at least has to get a piece of the guy, right?
Sure.
Like, if you aren't going to get a stick on it, whatever. But also, you're the centerman. So even if you can't make this play, you need to, I think, turn around. Like, this is just cheating for offense. Connor McDavid is hoping that there's a turnover, and he wants when that turnover happens, he's hoping that he is moving north-south and can pick it up and go. So play it. Again, little flyby here. Touches the guy, loops. Okay. Emberson's got to make a much better read there, because why are there 2 of you behind the net when there's only 1 San Jose player behind the net? Liam, last time I checked, it is very, very hard to score a goal from behind the net. It's possible, but it's hard to do. So Emberson's got to make a better read here. And the reason why I almost don't want to roast Nuge is because he's standing there and it's like, okay, Emberson has his guy here. Why do you turn away from him? There's no reason to turn away from him there. You're not intercepting that puck. It's too far out of your reach. He makes a horrendous read. Then I also think if you're Nuge, you're expecting the guy who's playing center on this line to hustle back to the front of the net to pick up a guy. And just they don't. It's just lazy. It's Ryan says it's puck watching. Yeah, it's sloppy.
Yeah, it's very sloppy. And it's just disappointing.
Yeah.
Again, and I think everything this season now has to just restart from the Draisaitl moment of him being like, everything sucks.
Yeah.
We all suck. And you come out, you lay an absolute egg against Anaheim. You play a really good game against LA. And now, after this San Jose game, we have to question if that was you playing so well or the LA Kings being so bad. Who, by the way, have fired Jim Hiller yesterday, to the disappointment of the entire city of Edmonton. And I just don't know which way to turn with this team right now. And I still believe they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll get to that 93-point plateau, 92, whatever it is. But my goodness, they've got to sort it out. And the idea of them getting another defenseman and another forward, I think, is a very good idea.
Yes.
I think it's the thing you need to go and do, because there's clearly holes. And I think maybe even new voices can help out. But it's your best players that are letting you down too often defensively. Yep. And it's disappointing. Someone put in there, I think it was Hanzo or something like that. It's like, why are you guys blaming Ingram on the first goal? Warman could have got his stick.
You're not thinking your goalie's out of the fucking net.
Yeah, I'm not really going to put that on my defenseman to be like, hey, I'm going to get you your stick now. Like, I'm hoping my goaltender can read the room a little bit.
Yeah, you got to read that play.
But again, Ingram, besides that one moment, wasn't as bad as it was made out to be. I agree with you on that. So, yeah, and I cannot believe the Edmonton Oilers scored. What would that be? 9 plus 5 is 14.
18 goals.
18 goals.
And they got 1 win in 3 games.
Damn.
That's pathetic.
18 goals and still allowed fewer goals.
Yep.
And still lost a game. 2 games. Really, really bad. Against 2 teams, Anaheim obviously on the up. San Jose likely will miss the playoffs. But I think one side of it, credit to the San Jose Sharks in the sense of like, That team is not very good, and that coach has got them playing in a very positive way. Again, they'll probably miss, but they're way more competitive than they've been in years. This was a team who only had Eric Carlson, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Shout out intern Tristan for this graphic, but look at the difference between February for the Oilers this year. That is volatile numbers for the Oilers
Hey, goals
in only
against
5 games.
Goals against has gone down.
Hell yeah.
We're cruising. I thought the PK... When did they really allow power play goals? Did they allow
They
one?
gave up a couple to San Jose.
Did they? Okay, because they was looking okay against Anaheim.
Or is it just
LA.
one to San Jose?
Maybe they just didn't have that many. I thought the PK was okay. Either way. February.
They gave up one to San Jose. They were 1 for 2 against the Sharks.
Okay. So that brings it down a little bit.
Yeah, and Connor McDavid did 3 assists. That's great. I just, again, and he had an assistant, and they almost tied it up in the third and all of that stuff. I would never, I don't want it to seem like I'm placing blame at the feet of Connor McDavid. I'm just trying to say this is a whole team problem right now. Yeah, I'm not looking at these games where they put up all the goals and go, oh my God, Connor and Leon, they deserve so much better right now. Because I think they're also a part of why they lost that game on Saturday.
Leon fairly irrelevant to the loss, I would say. I think he actually played okay. But yeah, I mean, he hit the post with 40 seconds left, something like that, crossbar.
Well, that Dre.
He has not been hitting that this year at all.
He's just gotten unlucky a few times and hit posts.
I even just think to the, what would it be, the Islanders game? Again, another wide open net. Hits the post. You're right, he's more been unlucky than him not, what would the word be? Producing?
Yeah. And eventually you trust that those will start falling too, so. The only reason the Oilers' playoff chances didn't take a bigger hit this weekend is because Chicago beat Utah, Pittsburgh beat Vegas.
Let's go.
Calgary blew a lead. They almost beat the Ducks. But then even on Saturday, I believe they got some help on Saturday too. Vancouver, LA beat Calgary too, yeah.
There was only one team in the Pacific Division who has more wins than losses this season. Do you know the answer?
It's San Jose, isn't it?
It's Anaheim.
Oh, it's Anaheim.
They're the only team. Every other team has more losses. Vegas clinging on with 14 overtime losses.
That's crazy. Vegas is 28-32 straight up this season. Wow. I mean, Edmonton's not much better. They're 29-32. Mm-hmm. But think about that. Edmonton has to win 3 straight games to get above true 500. The LA Kings, by the way, are 24-35 straight up this year.
We're cruising, baby. And Anaheim Ducks, who don't know, 33-26 Anaheim.
11 more losses. That's crazy.
I bet Anaheim, they must have the most comeback wins this season, I would suspect.
I could probably find that out.
We'll have a look after.
All right. Speaking of the LA Kings, that's one of the points we got to hit on with our insider. David Pagnotta from the fourth period is brought to you by Oodle Noodle. Win your way into the nation vacation. Actually, I think we might have already closed entries for that because we're coming up right away.
You ain't coming.
We're going to Vegas in 20 days. Anyways, oodlenoodle.ca. Take advantage of the value menu deal, which allows you to add 2 green onion cakes, 5 spring rolls, or 6 wontons to your order for just $2. Check him out, oodlenoodle.ca. Dave Pagnotta, check him out, fourthperiod.com. Dave, how was your weekend?
Not bad. Pretty decent. Leafs, allowed us to all laugh about their performance. Sorry, guys, but that was rough. Again, 3 games in a row. There was a rough one on Tuesday, Saturday. Outside of that, lack of sleep, as you can tell. But getting into trade deadline week here, as things hopefully pick up pretty soon.
How's your screen time going?
Ooh, I love asking that.
It's outside of now because it's not charged, but or it's not charging. But normally, I try to keep this puppy charged as much as possible. Yeah. Screen time. I don't know. I don't even want to look. But I do have some additional Oiler news for you. Literally.
Go ahead.
Giddy on up. Let's go.
Actually, I don't know if this has been put out, but I just got this text message right now about it. We know that Mangiapane and excuse me, help me out, the other dude. Regula, thank you. Cleared waivers, potential to free up some cap space there. They will get some cap relief. Matthias Janmark is having surgery on Wednesday, and he is done for the rest of the regular season. So they have the opportunity now to throw that $1.45 million on LTIR for the rest of the regular season and use that to their benefit. But again, I don't know if this is out there yet, but just news across my phone.
No,
Surgery on Wednesday for Janmark.
That is news for us. We were assuming that they were doing all of this because they wanted the Janmark LTIR space, which is why Szymanski and Howard are up, because they don't want the bonus recapture penalty and all of that stuff. But there you go. Matthias Janmark, surgery on Wednesday. We'll circle back to the Oilers in a second, but I wanted to start with the news of the weekend. Jim Hiller out in LA. Is it too late for them? Like, why did they wait so long?
Well, look, this is something that they went back and forth on for a little while, and I think the decision was made already that he wouldn't be back next season, that they were going to make this change in the offseason, but to do it now would have to result in some pretty detrimental play coming out of the break. And that's exactly what happened. They screwed up against Vegas, blew a third period game, gave it away, lost to the Golden Knights 6-4. And then the Oilers just smacked them around 8-1 the following night. So even with the Calgary win, or the 2-0 win over Calgary on Saturday, they had already made their decision on Friday, and then decided to go through with this afterwards. They didn't tell Hiller until Sunday morning, and didn't tell the staff until then either, but as they tried to get their ducks in a row moving forward. But DJ Smith was going to come in regardless. Had they made a change in season, they weren't looking outside the organization for the time being. That's something that they'll start to do once their season ends. But this was a scenario that they didn't want to play out this way. But those two games and how the team looked, performed, and so on, it just ultimately just forced Kenny Holland's hand to make that change now.
I understand why the Kings won't go into a rebuild, but Kempe and Panarin must both be sat there being like, how did this happen so quickly?
Just feels like it withered away so fast.
Yeah, and look, they're not completely out of it. What is it, 3 points out of a wild card position? So they still feel there's enough traction, there's enough runway, I should say, to climb back in it. But you guys were rifling off earlier the records. I mean, they're not good.
Yeah, and
they need to string together an array of wins here in a row to get through it. They got the one W, even with the change, as I said, on Saturday. So can you build off that? Well, you got Colorado tonight. So good luck.
So there was speculation over the weekend that the Oilers are going to have interest in potentially a third-line center, and I think it was a top 4 defenseman, right? Shot, I think they said. Who do you suspect that could be? Are these Justin Faulk rumors legit?
They checked in on Justin Faulk. They've had those discussions. It's a combo of what the price is and how much St. Louis is willing to retain, because that's what they would need in order to make that happen. I don't know if that's necessarily the direction they're going to go in. I don't know how much that window is still open, because there are obviously I just outlined 2 of the challenges, the return and the dollars. So there are challenges tied to that. But as I've said for the last little while, I mean, they've been looking at a bottom 6 guy, and preferably a center, and they've been looking for a defenseman. I still think that they're better off going with a defensive-minded type guy, but we'll see what they end up pulling off, or somebody that can play the full 200 game kind of thing from the back end, at if not a stay-at-home type of player. But they've been looking for a while. They may, depending on, this is going to depend on what type of player they zero in on. Now with the extra money from Janmark, gives them a little bit more flexibility, a tiny bit more. Can they bring in a player in the $1 to $1.5 million range that is going to stabilize that back end, or bring in somebody that does it up front? Like, I know there's, we've talked about before the connection to Toronto and all the speculation surrounding, OEL and some others. Well, Scott Lawton's sitting there at a $1.5 million cap hit, and that might be a pretty good ad for a team like this on that back end. In the bottom 6. And then you bring in that player, and maybe you have, additional space to add to the back end as well. But I think they have to be pretty strategic in how they're going to approach this deadline because of just the pure finances tied to it. Or do you try to bring in a bigger type of player like a Boone Jenner, for example, out of Edmonton? Out of Columbus, as I said, not much sleep this weekend, to try, to add more money to him to see to bring in somebody that can really impact your third line, but could also be interchangeable up and down that lineup and has versatility in how he can be deployed in a lineup, and also get some potential power play time because he's a good finisher. And his cap hit is 3-something.
375, I think, yeah.
So do you go in that direction, or do you try to address two areas? And that's what they're kind of juggling at the moment.
Well, that's where, again, like their forward group, as flawed as it can be, there's a lot of versatility in there, in the sense of like Nuge again could move from left wing to center, and a guy like Henrique, you could flip him on the wing if you want to. Even Jack Roslovic, they've experimented with him down the middle. Like, they have enough pieces that can all kind of move around, that I really think, like, when it comes to shopping for the forward, they can kind of just sit there and go, like, let's get the guy who we think is the best bang for our buck. If we're set on trading a second-round pick in Quinn Hudson, and that's like the assets we have allocated off to the side, we'll just go get the best guy. If that's Bobby McMahon, it's Bobby McMahon. If it's Eric Holla, who probably wouldn't cost that much, I know, then okay, then that's the best we can do. The blue line's just tougher because it very obviously has to be a guy who can play the right side. They have a lot of lefties. Maybe a guy like OEL, again, he can play the right side even though he's a lefty, but the blue line needs to be priority number one, and that's also going to be what costs you a lot. Like, I just can't even imagine with Justin Faulk, are the Blues sitting there going, we want a first-round pick for the player, and then what, another premium asset to keep the money necessary? Like, it's crazy. We could be talking about 2 prime assets for Justin Faulk.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what the first domino to drop is, or to fall is, because and those with respect to that caliber player, like that grouping of player, because there are a lot of those types of players available. Like, what's kind of screwing up the market a little bit is the fact that St. Louis has almost their whole team available, that Vancouver has almost the whole friggin' team available. It's not just 1 or 2 pieces off those teams. It's, you have a multitude of options. So you can look at Toronto and say, I like A, B, and C. You can look at Nashville and be like, I like E, F, G, and so on and so on. And then it's like, holy crap, I got half the alphabet available to me in St. Louis. So where should I allocate these dollars? Where should I allocate these assets in trying to bring somebody in? I can get that player. I like this player, but he's going to cost me, 3 pieces, whereas that guy's going to probably cost me 2 if I wait a little longer. So that's where everybody's kind of at, coupled with the fact that some of these teams were waiting to see 3-4 games after the break if their team would give them any chance at making a bit of a run or an argument to add. And clearly with some of these teams, that hasn't been the case.
Do the St. Louis Blues hold the keys to all this then, maybe, in a sense? Just because, like, when I look at the center market, I go, well, damn, Robert Thomas and Braden Shen would be 2 of the best centers available. And you look at the blue line, and it's like, well, shit, if they were ever to get crazy and trade a Parayko, and we know Faulk's available, like, it just looks like every spot you look up and down their lineup, there is someone available. And that means whatever contenders are out there looking to fill holes, you can fill those holes by shopping with the St. Louis Blues.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like Pia Suter, another year on his contract. He's a guy, 4.25, 4.125, something like that.
Yep.
Colorado that's fishing in that kind of pond to see what type of guy they can bring in for their third line. That's a prime guy, among other teams that are looking at those caliber players. So, yeah, there are a lot of options. I don't think St. Louis is going to be they're going to trade 9 guys. But I mean, if everything falls into their lap, sure. But you are going to look at additional options and what's out there. Do you go to Vancouver and say, well, I kind of like Drew O'Connor, another versatile guy with another year on his contract, can play center, can play wing, he's available. Do we go in this direction? And so on and so on. And a lot of these players fit the versatility mold. Scott Lawton plays center and wing. For example, whoever the heck I mentioned before, Boone Jenner, completely forgot. There he is, center and wing. So you've got a lot of options and a lot of guys that are versatile in how they can be deployed on a situational basis, even let alone a game by game basis. So there are teams that are looking at a lot of these and trying to see what options might be available.
What do you think is going to happen with Mangiapane now that he's down in Bakersfield? Do you actually think he'll get moved, or do you think he's just around?
Are we stuck with him?
Yeah.
They've tried. Effectively, this frees up actually all of that money. No, sorry, excuse me.
No, 1.15.
1.15 along with the 1.45. So you're not at that full 3.6. You're at 2.55, whatever it is. So it gives you a little bit of a lot more flexibility to run with. Now, if they can find a home, they're still going to look at it. Like going back to St. Louis, Matthew Joseph cleared waivers the other day. They're still trying to find a new home for him. I would imagine it's going to be the same thing here with Mangiapane. If they can help free up additional money, can they get up to 1.5? Can they get up to $2 million to free up if they bring in another body, because they're going to have to offset a little bit of the dollars. I'll be honest, I haven't, since he's cleared in the last, whatever it is, less than an hour. I haven't checked in on it, so I'm not sure what the latest is with respect to that, but I've got to imagine that, or at least the mindset was that they would continue to try to move him if he's cleared. I've got to imagine that's going to be still the case.
I wanted to ask you about the Central Division before we let you go. How do you view those three teams right at the top? Because all of them seem to have similar-ish needs, where it's like, yeah, all three of them probably want to be shopping at that upper part of the forward market. Is this going to be viewed as an arms race? Is there one of those teams that you think is more likely to go crazy and do something big than the others? How do you view those three teams?
I expect all three to address the center position. I don't know Colorado's already addressed the decor, and technically so is Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Dallas is trying to do that as well. So I don't think anyone's going to go, fully crazy here and come out of left field with another major type addition. But all three of these teams are looking at very similar type of assets: the Kadris, the Schens, the Trocheks, I guess O'Reilly to an extent, although I still think he's going to stay in Nashville, but we'll see. So they're all kind of fishing in very similar ponds. But because of, how many guys are available, maybe they go in that direction. I mentioned Pius Suter for a potential fit for Colorado. If they don't go big with a Kadri, and I still think that's a potential option, then, maybe you look at a Suter who's, again, 4.25 cap hit versus the $7 million of Kadri. Or if, he goes somewhere else and your options are limited, then I think Colorado of the three is most comfortable in sticking to their team than the other two. Dallas wants to add, there's no question. And Minnesota's been looking for a top six guy before the Quinn Hughes trade. Because they moved out Rossi, it seems like center is the primary objective for them. But Colorado seems the most comfortable. And if they don't make a bigger type of ad, I think they're fully cool with bringing in somebody in that, third, fourth line setting, and then just kind of rolling there. But I think for a team like Colorado, the piece that they bring in, whatever he brings on the ice, has to equate what he brings off the ice in the room. They don't want to mess with the flow of that team. So whoever is a room glue type of player, that a guy to kind of be eased into it and not miss a beat. That's kind of the player that I think they can they want to prioritize, coupled with obviously what they're capable of doing on the ice.
I got one more light-hearted question.
Okay.
The Buffalo Sabres play the Vegas Golden Knights tonight, and they're going to congratulate Tage Thompson for winning a gold medal. They're also now apparently going to congratulate Jack Eichel for also winning a gold medal. Crazy coincidence that this is the game that's happening.
Is the crowd going to cheer him or boo him?
I don't know. That's what I'm going to ask you.
I got to think cheer.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. I don't think it'll be as mixed as it was in Toronto for Austin. The Canadian contingent there was a little confused by what was going on. Which I get. I would have just kept quiet. But good on Austin for the gold. Yeah, they're probably going to cheer. Buffalo's got to figure out all their other stuff. They got to figure out, what the hell's going on with Tuch and.
No shot they trade Tuch, right? Like
I'd be shocked.
There's a 90% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, I'd be shocked. Just even if they're going to use him as his own or their own rental, excuse me.
Yeah.
I think that's what, and they'll worry about the contract stuff later. Like he's looking for 10 and a half per year. And being the top guy in the UFA market this summer, he's probably going to get it. So if he stays in the 10 figures, 8 figures per year in the 10 millions, then I think there's a pathway to figuring something out there. But I think that's what he's looking for in that mid 10 to 11 range. And obviously the Sabres haven't been comfortable doing that yet, or else this would have been done. If they don't do it by Friday, yeah, I think they just hold on to him as their own rental. Probably this is another team that probably addresses their third or fourth line, bringing a veteran type of piece to help kind of calm things on the ice and calm the room as well as they get back into the playoffs for the first time since, 10-11.
Yeah.
Did they boo Matthews? I did not see that.
It was like a weird mixed thing.
That'll probably
It sounded, apparently, I listened to it afterwards. It sounded more even on television. It sounded more booey in the arena.
On the Tuch thing, if that situation was laying at the feet of like the Kings or Sharks or like a rebuilding team or a team who's had playoff appearances recently, like I could see it being like, no, we got to move him and get something for him. But yeah, like a 14, 15-year playoff drought, that fan base would justifiably be very pissed off if you did that. You just can't do that.
No, I think at this point they're kind of reserved to the fact that they got to go playoff way. Like we owe it to our fans after all the shit they've been through the last 14, 15 years to get in there and give them a taste. And this isn't a scenario where they're just squeezing in. Like these guys could surprise a little bit and do a little bit of damage in the first round, depending on opponent. I mean, they kicked the crap out of Tampa the other night. And right before the Olympic break, I stayed in Tampa after the outdoor game, and they played the Sabres, and that was another really good game. Tampa won, but it was a really good game. Like Buffalo could have easily taken that one the way they were playing. So the fact that they played that well against the Bolts the other night, zero surprise. And once you get a little bit of confidence, you get a little extra pep in your step, you never know. And I think Jarmo's looking to add something. I don't think it'll be a big impact type addition, but I could see them adding something that just makes the guys go, all right, yeah, they got our backs in this one. Let's go win a few playoff games. Something going on that phone there? Anything you want to share?
Mangiapane get traded?
No, nothing there. Just some conversations going back and forth to keep tabs on.
I'm going to add this last one, and I'm being dead serious. You give me a one-word answer here, and I don't even want to ask you it, but it pops up in our chat all the time, and since you're an insider, you're just going to squash this once and for all for our show. David, will the Edmonton Oilers trade Darnell Nurse before Friday?
No.
Thank you. David Pagnotta, you can find him on the fourth period. He's the one half of the DFO Rundown Insider Edition every week with Irv Gafar. Thanks for popping on.
Thank you. See you guys.
You
Farewell.
He'll also be a part of our trade deadline show on Friday on Daily Faceoff.
That was not Daily Faceoff.
That was TSN. We would like everyone
We all
to watch.
know, but we
Daily
all know
Don't go to TSN.
that's what it means. You can watch this one.
Not geo-locked, wherever you are in the world.
Yeah.
You fire up YouTube, commercial-free the whole day. That means the second a trade happens, you will find out about the trade.
Yes.
I want to address a comment in the YouTube chat.
Which one? There's been so many annoying ones today.
First off, why are we talking about Jeff Skinner?
Oh, because people were saying, who would you? Well, fuck, God, it doesn't matter.
Also,
It's pissing me off today.
Yeah,
God
I know.
damn, sorry, go on.
Someone in the chat was heaping praise on the San Jose Sharks, saying they built a real quality team around their superstar. With Macklin Celebrini off the ice at 5-on-5 this year, they are minus 31.
They are in the process of building a team.
Yeah.
They're like in year 2 of the step.
Yeah, and if
they're
you
doing
would-
well. Don't get us wrong, but like they're not that good, and that's why the Oilers lost them the other day was terrible.
What I'm actually really intrigued to see here is the Edmonton Oilers in that year they made the playoffs. Connor McDavid's second year in the NHL.
2017.
Do you think their goal differential with McDavid off the ice was better or worse than what the Sharks is with Celebrini right now?
What's the Sharks story again?
Minus 31.
Better because Talbot was really good.
Yeah, the Edmonton Oilers were only minus 4 with McDavid off the ice
Yeah, they were
that year.
They were a good team
We're a good
that
team.
year.
Yep.
Which makes it more disappointing that Chiarelli did absolutely nothing at the trade deadline. And David Deharnay was perfectly fine for
Scored
the
that big goal,
Scored
yeah.
the goal. Needed a little bit more. You had McDavid and Draisaitl on their entry-level deals, and you just sat on your hands. God, I wish I could go back and just change so many things about this team. Like, how far would I go back? Probably the day they drafted McDavid.
Yeah, because you
And
would undo.
literally the move that immediately happened
Yeah.
in trading for Griffin right now.
I mean, this is a very depressing exercise to do.
I think you could go year for year, a mistake the Oilers made.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you go all the way back to like that Reinhart trade, from that point on, how many of them do you think were like, what's the percentage of wins versus losses?
Well, I can think of
A lot of them would
Hall
be
and Eberle
washes.
both leaving. The Hall one is interesting
You could spin that as a win if you really wanted
because
to.
I don't think the Oilers' blue line would have been as good. if Larson wasn't on it. So
But the counterpoint would be you probably could have found a Larson in free agency and then also kept Taylor Hall. Like it was a bad trade, but you got a good player.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the first trade, what did we say? The first deal? Oh, it was the first deal was the I'm trying to find it here. The Griffin Reinhart deal. That's a loss. Clear cut loss. Why did my phone? Every time my phone buzzes, I'm like, trade.
Well, people are starting some shit in the chat.
Oh, really? Why?
With Corey Perry.
What about?
Oh, I retweeted you.
You what?
Never mind. Go on. We're,
Pagnotta just that's
then I retweeted that. That's what I was.
I retweeted that too. Okay, so ready? We're gonna do this and we're gonna finish this exercise by 1 o'clock, and then we'll get to mock trades.
Okay,
so we're not gonna dig into all of these. Do you have something you can do to count? There you go. Hey, now we're cooking. Pull out the whiteboard.
Farewell, Mangiapane.
You might still be here.
Still around.
Okay, so make one column that's wins and one column that's losses. Some of these are just going to be washes, and we just won't count them as either.
I'll make a little one in the corner.
But clear-cut wins, clear-cut losses. These are trades only.
Win, loss. Trades only. Let's do it.
Griffin Reinhart deal.
Loss.
Cam Talbot deal.
Win.
Martin Marincin for a 4th-round pick. Neither.
Wash.
Eric Gryba for a 4th-round pick and Travis Iwanek.
Win.
Okay, yeah, we'll give him a win.
He played.
Korpikoski for Boyd Gordon. Inconsequential.
Kopikoski will be on this list again shortly.
Anders Nielsen for Liam Coughlin.
Okay.
Ben Scrivens for Zach Cassian.
Win.
Again, the extension afterwards, lost, but that trade is a win.
We're not talking about that.
Philip Larson for a 5th-round pick. Justin Schultz for a 3rd-round pick. Who cares?
Loss.
Really?
I would say in the grand scheme of things, a loss.
Yeah, because you should have developed him better.
He should have
and
been
it shouldn't
good.
have gotten to the point. Okay, Teddy Purcell for a 3rd. Who cares? Anders Nielsen for a 5th-round pick. Who cares?
Did they get him?
They traded him.
Okay, wash.
Pat Maroon for a 4th. That's a win.
They got Pat Maroon.
Yeah.
Okay, because the next one is a loss for Pat Maroon.
Taylor Hall for Adam Larson.
Put a poll in the chat. That'll be the one we got a poll.
Hall for Larson, win or loss.
Win or loss.
Nail Yakupov for Zach Pakairo and a 3rd-round pick.
Wasn't it David Perron?
No, that's PRV.
Oh, it's a loss.
Yeah, loss. Samuelson for Mraz. Who cares?
Wash.
Desharnais for Davidson. I almost want to say it's a loss because it encapsulates that deadline period.
But I'm going to say a win because they got a playoff win because of it.
Okay, sure. Justin Fontaine for Taylor Beck.
The former Bonneville Pontiac.
Jordan Eberle for Ryan Strome.
Loss.
Mike Camilleri for UC Okinen. Who cares?
Win.
Greg Chase for future considerations.
Loss.
Al Montoya for a 4th-round pick.
We got him?
Yeah, but who cares?
Okay.
Brandon Davidson for a 3rd-round pick. Who cares? We traded Mark Letet-Stu for Pontus Aberg. Who cares? Pat Maroon.
I'm going to put all of these in a loss column because the Oilers should have made the damn playoffs this year, and they had to get rid of all these guys.
Yeah, but we can't we're just grading the trades in a very linear way. Pat Maroon for a 3rd-round pick and JD Dudek.
Loss.
Counterpoint, he wasn't good anymore.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
He was 6th on the trade board that year, and they got nothing for him.
Cooper Marody for a 3rd. Oh, my God.
Farewell, Cooper.
Jakub Jerabek for a 6th. Nolan Vesey for a 7th. Ryan Spooner for Ryan Strome.
Loss. Big loss. Should be 2.
Chris Weidman for a 6th. Who cares? This is a loss. Kajula and Jason Garrison for Brandon Manning.
Jason Garrison.
Alex Petrovic for Chris Weidman in a 3rd. Who cares? Oh, that's probably a loss. Why'd you give up a 3rd for
Yeah,
Petrovic?
loss. I gave up a pick.
Cam Talbot for Stolars.
Loss.
Yeah.
So before Stolars was good. Too.
Yeah, you probably should have just kept your fucking good goalie.
He was barely an NHL.
Sam Gagne for Ryan Spooner. Vibes-wise, win, but I'm not giving them a win for that trade.
No, you're going from Jordan Eberle to back to Sam Gagne.
Lucic and a 3rd for Neil. I'll say win.
I will say a win as well. Just because of the situation of they got out of money and all that shit.
Okay, I'm going to skip through a few of these. Tyler Ennis for a 5th. You can go win.
Sure.
It's a light win. Mike Green for Brodziak and a 4th. Who cares?
Loss.
Well, let's give him a loss for the Athanasiou deal then.
I'll give him one for both.
You're going to give him 2 losses.
Well, I mean, I don't think we need to sugarcoat how shit this was.
The Kulikov for a 4th. Fine. It's D-depth.
We
We got Kulikov for a 4th.
It was nothing.
That's inconsequential.
I think
it's trading
so
for
too. Yeah, go on.
Duncan Keith for Caleb Jones in a third.
Loss.
Only
because of money. Again, just Duncan Keith, perfectly fine. I understand why you got him. He only wanted to go to 2 places.
Yeah. This next one, everyone was screaming loss at the moment, but it's a win. Ethan Bear for Warren Fogle.
Oh, yeah, that
That's
was a win.
It's a great deal in hindsight. Staylock for futures. Who cares? Kulak for a second and Willie Lags. Win.
Who did the second end up being?
Lane Hudson. Still a win, though.
Yeah.
Now, this one, we need to remove our bias.
Okay.
Derek Brassard for a fourth. Inconsequential, I think.
No loss. The guy couldn't even play for you in the playoffs.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. It's a
and
loss.
he didn't actually kill penalties like we were being told.
The Zach Cassian contract dump. A first, a second, and a third, and Cassian for a first. So you moved down and had to give up. That's a loss. You had to get out of a shitty contract, yeah.
But that, I'll tell you something, that ended up being a win.
Kostin for Samurikov.
Win.
Ekholm, win.
Because of that pick. It all trickles.
Yeah. Puljujarvi for Pistola. I mean, they
Loss.
got out of the money. The Bukestad for Kesselring.
Loss.
And again, we're using hindsight for a lot of these, but that is the point, is that you use the results to judge the team and their management.
Yeah.
So that's a loss. Jaden Gruby for a fifth. Who cares? Cap dump Kostin and Yamamoto. Who cares? That might be a loss.
A loss. They can get, Yamamoto, the injuries didn't help, but I'll say it's a loss.
Henrique deal. Loss. Stetcher deal. Win.
You got a lot out of that guy.
Pick swap with the Flyers. Savoy deal. Too early to tell still?
I'll say win based off the circumstance of, like, you probably weren't going to be able to re-sign McLeod. And I think Savoy and McLeod almost, like, wash each other out. So somewhat a win, I guess. We'll say it's a win.
We can be nice. It's a win. Okay. Borgo and Chason for Jarventi. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
It's inconsequential.
Yeah.
Emberson for CC in a third. I'll say win.
Win, I will too.
Podkolzin, win.
Yeah. Only because of the other shit that happened.
Yeah.
Which I'm just going to put down as a loss because they ended up having to make those trades to get Fisher, so that can count to
Yeah, sure. Say give us one loss there. Frederick deal.
Loss.
Wallman deal.
Win. I will say this, and I will always stand by this. The Frederick deal, the trade, wasn't that bad.
No, second or fourth, Warner with a chance, yeah.
2 players that were never going to play in the NHL.
Gave us oil to the max.
Oil to the max for a little bit. Everything else after, besides last game, bad.
So
we're not done yet. There's a couple more. Tristan Jarry trade.
Oh, Jarry trade loss.
Yeah.
Spencer Stastny deal. Win.
Sure.
Give me a win.
So then,
and that's all.
Was there anything over the summer? I don't think. Oh, Ike Howard.
Oh,
wash almost. I mean, you're getting NHL games out of Howard.
I'm not calling that a win.
Okay, sounds like I'll just leave it off then. So right now on the win column, so there was 5, 10,
this is every trade they made in the McDavid era.
Yeah, some of them I didn't even count because they were just like I'd never even heard of the players.
Yeah.
So I'll just do wins and losses. Wins, 17. Losses, 22. You're not even batting 500.
Yeah. So 17 of the 39 trades that we declared, they won 43% of their deals. And how many inconsequential ones were there?
I got to 18 and then stopped counting on some of them.
Yeah, that's fair. So you're not going to build a cup contender only winning 47% of the trades you make. No. And we were being, I think, pretty nice on a few of those.
Yeah. I would say I only put the David Desharnais one on there because, I mean, again, he did score an overtime winner. That's not nothing.
Sure. It's like that, but yeah, again, the whole collective of that deadline is disappointing. So there you go. That was a fun. Tomorrow we'll do free agent signings. Oh, no.
And the first name, Mark Fane.
Loss. Benoit Pouliot. Loss.
Sexy Reg.
Every time I read one that resulted in a buyout or having to be cap dumped, you take a shot.
Double loss.
Just vomiting by we would be in the summer of 2019 and be puking drunk.
People are very upset with Stan Bowman right now. I understand it. Based off recent circumstances, the Tristan Jarry trade not looking great.
Yep.
What I will say is, let's not act like Ken Holland was some prince around here either.
Oh,
Nor was Peter Chiarelli.
No.
Everyone that has stepped through that door and become the Oilers general manager whatever they had done previously seemed to have just completely erupted. Now, of course, like we marked down good trades from both teams. Holland brought in Ekholm. He also traded 2 second-round picks for Anthony Siu. The pandemic obviously got in the way. Everything's going to balance itself out with most of these GMs, besides Peter Chiarelli, who I think most of those L's were on him. I just don't think it should be like all doom and gloom, but I also completely understand why a lot of people are upset with Bowman today. And that's fair.
If you were to do a ratio that was trades won divided by days on the job to give you like a number.
Okay, little equation.
Proportionally, Stan Bowman has outperformed those other general managers.
Sure. Yeah.
Because we're sitting here, we liked Emberson, we liked Podkolzin, and I know those were because of the other...
Holloway, Broberg.
Yeah.
Which, all of you, can you... Enough of this BS that Holland would have signed those guys if he was still here. He was the general manager when both those guys were pending RFAs, and he did not sign them.
Yes.
Sorry. Carry
on. He made those 2 that we liked. We liked Wallman, and we liked Stasny. He's won 4 trades already.
Yeah, the sign-ins, Mangiapane bad, Frederick bad, Draisaitl extension good, Bouchard extension good, Roslovic good. I feel like there was one other sign.
Wallman extension, did you say that?
I didn't say that. Well, pending.
Pending. TBD.
Lazar.
All right.
I'm not including Lazar.
Shall we do our mock trades?
Yes. Bowman did talk today.
So he did.
Did he say anything?
Here's a little bit from Gregor. Stan Bowman on the Oilers. We haven't played well defensively as a team. There are many contributing factors that include forwards, defense, and goaltending. Until we learn as a team to be smarter in how we approach the game, there will be highs and lows. I think that is a mentality shift. We have seen it in spurts, but not consistently enough. There has to be a bigger commitment from all our players to make smarter plays and try to not score every shift. There are a lot of details underneath that. We have some players at forward, defense, and goalie who need to play better. Yes, again, you don't lose the way you lost those 2 games last week. You don't lose those unless there is blame to go around to everybody.
Yeah. One deal I did forget to mention, Connor McDavid extension.
I mean, that one is just kind of fell into his lap, right? Like,
yeah, I agree. But
you could argue if the last 18 months had gone better, maybe McDavid has signed up for 8 more years.
Sure. I mean, Bowman didn't really say anything that we haven't been saying, and the players haven't been saying. We'll see what happens. I don't think he's going to sit on his hands by any means.
Nope.
This is a funny comment. Barbershop window is not even close. Holland was the best GM since Glenn Sather. Now, is that because Holland did such a good job or everyone else did so bad? Because you could definitely argue both sides. I mean, Holland took him to the Stanley Cup final. There's no denying that. So did Bowman.
Mm-hmm. Someone in the chat said Janmark surgery out for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
That was literally broken on our show. That news, that piece of specific news was revealed to the world 25 minutes ago on our show.
So 1.45 million is now opened up for the Edmonton Oilers.
Significant. Very significant. Okay. There you go. Thank you, Mr. Pagnotta. Yeah, like honestly, the Bowman stuff, I was flipping through some of the quotes. He basically just kept reiterating that same line over and over again. There was nothing.
It's just got to be the message that they all have. Like it's the only thing. They're scoring tons of goals. And they just can't keep them out of their net, whether that's the goalies, the defensemen, forwards. I think it's all of them. I think it really is all of them.
I think this is Bowman on the goalies. I think our goalies haven't. I think our goaltending hasn't played great. They can be better, but I think our team has put them in some tough spots. I'd like to see our goalies find some consistency in their game. I'm not absolving them, but the way we play as a team will have a big impact on helping them play better. Sure. Just like when the team played good in December, Stuart Skinner had a couple of good starts.
Yeah. The numbers back up everything to suggest that the Oilers have played poor defense for 3 of the 4 months this season.
This is a good quote, not from the Oilers, but from Vincent Trocheck.
Okay.
Vincent Trocheck said he already talked to his kids about the possibility of being being traded to prepare them. His son, who is 7, had this to say. My son was like, well, I'll stay because, I have a hockey team here. I didn't get traded.
That's fair.
That's a good point.
Does
also, on a more serious note, illustrate that this time of year, pretty stressful.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Tyler Myers, who it's just basically out there that it's like Detroit is trading for you. Do you want to go? And he has to decide if he wants to stay somewhere where he's not wanted and where the fan base is now going to sit there and be like, great, we could have gotten a first or second round pick for you and you didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
Or does he want to stay in Vancouver? Sympathetic to him. I think he has, I think the report is he has a child who needs specialized schooling.
Gotcha.
And he doesn't want to disrupt that. So now for Tyler Myers, it's like, do you want to disrupt your child and move them to Detroit? Do you want to live away from your family for a year and a half? It's a shitty spot to be in.
Yeah, because he has another year on his deal. That's the other way. If he's a free agent, I'm sure it's a little bit different. It's I can survive a couple of months here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there is always a human side of it, which really does blow for that. And I think even when Tyler Ennis has been on our show, he's like, this guy loves playing in Vancouver. Yep. Lives in Kelowna in the summers. It's too bad when that comes around.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's do mock trades brought to you by a Nation Game Day hangout that we have coming up this Friday. And if you are someone who lives on the west end of the city, you are going to want to listen up. This is your chance to come hang out with us at what I would call a legendary West Edmonton spot. Uncle Glenn's, 7666 156th Street Northwest.
Uncle Glenn's.
You ever been to Uncle Glenn's?
Yes, I have been to Uncle Glenn's. You can throw peanuts on the floor. Peanut shells. You never, yep. You
really?
Definitely can.
The one time I went there, I definitely didn't do that.
Yeah, you can just eat peanuts and you just kind of leave them on the ground. They're just
sweet.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to be at Uncle Glenn's on Friday. It is a fundraiser for the Rio Terrace community. Tickets are $35. That includes your pizza and a beveragino.
Good pizza.
We're going to meet up at 5:30. It's deadline day, so I'll be there ready to blow off some steam. Also, I had an idea because Jay was like, all right, Tyler, come up with some ideas for how to host this. I want to do a real auction, but I don't know if we need to get special licensing or if we can just do it because we're at Uncle Glenn's.
Probably do.
I don't know.
But
we have some great prizes like a signed Ryan Nugent-Hopkins jersey and some other stuff. And during the intermission, I want to actually auction them off and be like, I got 500, 500, do I have 550, 550, 500? Boom, gentlemen in the back. I really want to do that. So anyways, if you're on the West End or anywhere in the city and you want to come hang out with us on Friday as Edmonton takes on Carolina, pizza party with the Nation crew at Uncle Glenn's. Giddy up. You can reserve your spot at nationgear.ca.
There you go.
Very cool. Mock trades we put out the chat or we put out on YouTube. Submit your mock trades and we're going to give them either a pass or a fail, Liam. Are you excited for this or not excited at all?
No. This is my least favorite segment of the year.
This is my favorite segment of the year.
Because I hate crushing dreams.
I love it.
And I am going to crush all of your dreams right now. Please go ahead.
There might be one you like. Also, should we roll up my rim live on the air?
Is it going to be what you got last time?
Stop that. Here we go. Shout out to Roll Up the Rim, who is a sponsor on DFO Live this year.
Really? That's
And Oilersnation After Dark.
And wow. And we get Uncle Glenn's.
Please play again.
God damn it.
Is it just like last year? Didn't I go over 12 last year?
Yep.
That's probably why they stopped spending on our show.
You can play on the app now, too.
Oh, yep. I do have an app roll ready to go to. Okay. Mock trades. Aaron's just going to give them to us, and we're going to give them a thumbs up, thumbs down. Here we go. Den is in to the Blackhawks. Mangiapane and Regula, if not claimed. A first and a second. Connor Murphy, 50% retained. Ilya Mikheyev, 50% retained. Why would the Oilers want Ilya Mikheyev? He skates fast. I know that.
He's actually not a bad player. Penalty killer, if I'm not mistaken. I was reading some stuff last night. Vancouver fans talking about Mikheyev, saying how he basically had one bad stretch in Vancouver, and then they just gave up on him completely. And now the second round pick they traded for them could be like 33rd overall. 31, 23 points this season.
11 goals.
Honestly,
all of them either shorthanded or even strength, which is impressive.
If you took out the second, I think I would do it.
Ooh, but I think you have to.
Sorry, go on. I was just going to say, because I think Murphy and McCabe would help you, would make your team better.
Mikheyev is the most used penalty killing forward on the Blackhawks.
Okay.
So the reason why I think you need to give up the first and the second in this one, Mangiapane we now know is a negative asset. I would take Regula out of this. I want the defensive depth. He's cleared.
Sure.
Regula is now a positive asset for you because he's in the minors and you can call him back up and play him if someone gets hurt.
Yeah.
So I take Regula out. Mangiapane, a first and a second for Murphy and Mikheyev. Mangiapane might cost you a third or a fourth to have someone take it off your hands. And then you're probably paying, or you have to pay for retention on each of these guys. So I actually think this deal actually gets a thumbs up from me. I'm not sure if I would do it, but I think the value is there.
The value is probably good. Well done, Den. You've
both
kicked
guys
us off well.
Both guys are pending UFAs. So again, you're out of it at the end of the year.
Right shot, Connor Murphy too.
I would again prefer to aim higher, but this is one of those where like, fuck, if it's Friday at noon and it's like, okay, we're like an hour away from the deadline, we got to do something. This might be I do this with an hour left.
Yeah, I could see this actually happening.
Yeah. Most
Second
realistic is Den so far.
Oh, yeah, that's a win.
For the chat. All right, next one, Aaron. Andrew, this is from Vivek. Or Vivek, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Andrew Mangiapane, Bo Akey, and a first rounder for OEL and Nick Waugh. $800K retained on Nick Waugh. Both Waugh and OEL have term left. Waugh has 1 more year. OEL has 2 more years. Akey in a first is actually probably the cost of OEL. Mangiapane and Nick Waugh probably aren't that far off value-wise because of the extra year. I think, though, and you need retention to make the money work, I get it, you're missing probably 1 draft pick, and then this one would work. You need a pick to probably pay for the Nick Waugh retention. But if it was Mangiapane, Akey, a first and a third for OEL and Nick Waugh, I would actually maybe give this one a thumbs up. And I think I actually like this one more than the Chicago deal we just talked about.
I'll give this one a thumbs down from a Toronto perspective.
Yeah, probably.
I think they'll want more. I just think they're going to try and get back whatever they got from the Brendan Carlo deal.
Which would be Ike Howard. Bo Akey a first.
Bo Akey, whoever the prospect is, doesn't really matter. Fraser Mitten was the other guy. And when he went to Boston, he wasn't anything special. He was probably the third best forward prospect, I would say. So I'll give this one a thumbs down, but I actually don't hate it. We're off to a good start. I feel like you've nitpicked these ones. Yep. Give me some bad ones.
Mason is in. Parayko at $1.5 million retained, and Nathan Walker.
Jesus.
Nathan Walker. Parayko $1.5 million retained for Bo Akey, Emil Vinny, a 2027 first, a 2028 second that becomes a 2028 first if the Oil win the cup before that draft, a 2026 second, and a 2026 third. Mangi will have to be moved. Either can be thrown into this one or done separately. The money actually, surprisingly enough, works with the LTIR space. You're giving that one a loss, though. It's just a lot to give up for Parayko. A first, a second, and a third. Good defenseman. Makes the Oilers better. Can you improve your blue line for less assets? I think so. And I'm very scared about how Colton Parayko's contract is going to age. The retention makes me tempted, really tempted. I think I say no because I think I can get OEL for a fraction of this package, and then I can go use the rest of this package to get Bobby McMahon. And I'd rather have OEL and McMahon versus just Parayko.
Yes. I would also say, too, we might get to a point here if the Oilers are patient or the NHL is patient that the Blues might have to pay you a little bit to take Parayko too. And I think you're giving up way too much. But by that point,
you won't want him. So that's kind of why I'm just stay away.
Maybe. Yeah, that's also fair. I just think that if there was discussion on if UC Soros was going to get traded and that was going to cost Nashville something, then Parayko is going to cost St. Louis something. So I'm out on this one.
I'm out too. Next one from TF Hockey, Trent.
Oh, okay, we're good on this one, I think.
Jari, an Oilers first round pick in 2027, and Ike Howard for Bobrovsky. 50% retained on Bobrovsky.
You wanted me to muck it up. Here you go.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, this one sucks. Sergei Bobrovsky sucks this year. and he is old, and he's been shitty in the past. He's basically been good for 2 seasons, and they won 2 Stanley Cups.
Really? With Florida,
yeah.
Yeah, no. What's next?
Dump Mangiapane.
I just love when we get into the real nitty gritty of future considerations. This guy. What?
So Edmonton gives Columbus a third to take Mangiapane. So it's
for nothing.
Mangiapane for nothing, and you have to give up a third. They give up a first and Bo Akey for OEL. I actually think that's like a pretty likely OEL return.
Okay. It's not a bad one.
And then they go to Columbus. Go to Vancouver. They give up a third and a sixth for Blueger at 50% retained. That's also pretty realistic.
I don't hate this one, Oilers hub.
This is,
I think,
stunningly realistic. This might be what they do.
I think OEL is going to cost you another pick. I think the Oilers are real, and I understand why everyone throws in Bo Akey. But I honestly believe the Oilers will try to avoid trading a defensive prospect because they, quite frankly, don't have any. Mm-hmm. They have Akey, they have California, and they have Regula. I don't think I'm missing it. There are a couple of guys in college and wherever else, sure, but actually in the system can play. I just don't think they can do that right now. So yeah. I'll give this one a thumbs up, but I wouldn't do it.
Counterpoint: if you got OEL. You have Bush, Nurse, Ekholm, Wallman, OEL, and Emberson all under contract for next year. Stasny under team control. You're talking about having 7 D-men under team control for next year with 4 of those guys signed longer than next season. 5 of them if you count OEL in this. You don't need Bo Akey because your blue line's set for the next 3-4 years.
I would also counter that same by Ekholm and Ekman-Larsson are both 35.
Decent point. I would like someone younger than OEL, but I don't know if that guy's out there.
Oh, my fucking God.
This one from NHL fan. This is a horrible deal, but I wanted to include it. Nicholas Waugh and Oliver Ekman-Larsson for Ike Howard, Quinn Hudson, a first and a second and a fifth. Why?
Show me the comparable.
Also, they threw an asterisk on the 5th round pick that it's the higher of Boston's and Edmonton's. So you give them a good 5th rounder instead of the bad 5th rounder. This is way too much. Nicholas Waugh is barely a positive asset. I struggle calling him a positive asset.
I think he's a good player.
Who makes $3 million and has a year left. He's fine. He's worth a 4th.
He's not providing offense for you. He's a good penalty-killing guy. All I would say about Nicholas Waugh is he just Adam Henrique but cheaper and younger? Which
Maybe.
If he is, that's fine, whatever.
But I'm not paying a lot for him. And I'm not giving up all this for OEL.
I could not be more out on this one.
Yeah.
This is the worst one. Congrats.
Second and Bo Akey for Braden Schneider.
Next. No, they're not doing that. They're
not doing that.
So I was trying to find some comparables, and we spoke about the Byram one. There's not really many 24-year-old defensemen that get traded, but the only one that I could think of that was somewhat close, and it's a forward, not a defenseman, was when Alex Newhook, was traded to Montreal from Colorado, and that was a first and a second. Bo Akey.
It's a first and Akey.
Well, Bo Akey's not that. He played in the ECHL this year, and I think Bo Akey's had a really decent season. There's a first-round pick in this deal for sure.
Yeah, has to be.
So
you're not getting Braden Schneider for a second. No. He's an RFA. If he was a UFA, but he's 24, he's an RFA, you can sign. He's under team control. You're not getting him unless there's a first involved. Next. Everyone is probably going to do OEL trades or realistic Nurse trades. Realistic in air quotes. I like that. So I'm going to throw in 2 curveballs. Ristolainen at 50% retained for the 2027 first, a third, Mangi, and one of Hudson or Akey. The retention makes it interesting on Ristolainen, but again, if I'm giving up all these assets, I want someone who's more of an upgrade. And then, or this one, Logan Stanley and Morgan Barron for a first, Mangiapane, and a 5th. I actually like that one.
Yeah,
I'll do that. I'll do the second one.
Okay, so Ristolainen, I think we're just out on.
Mm-hmm. Stanley and Barron for a first, Mangi, and a 5th. You're basically paying a 5th to get rid of Mangi, and you're giving up a first for 2 players. I don't think Winnipeg would do that, although it's actually probably pretty close. Yeah, it's actually Winnipeg might do that to guarantee themselves a first-round pick. I think Kevin Cheveldayoff can then spin that as like I want to trade. I got a first at this deadline. Like, it wasn't a total loss. So I think I'm in on that.
Yes. So 1-1.
Okay. That's all of them, eh?
No, I have 2 more.
Okay, two more.
I got
All right,
two more.
Two more. We'll be quick here. Then we'll get to Spotify comments. To Winnipeg, Mangiapane a second and a fifth. To Edmonton, Morgan Barron. Again, yeah, you're saving money, so it's going to cost you an asset here. I think that deal's pretty good. A second-round pick for Connor Murphy at 50% retained. You might have to throw in your other fifth-round pick to get this deal done just for the retention. But again, standard. If this was their deadline, I wouldn't be stunned either. You had Morgan Barron, you had Drew O'Connor. The Drew O'Connor one's for Marhala and a third. Some people might say Marhala can come up and actually give you help right now, so why wouldn't you just bring him up? But I could see them doing all of these.
I would agree. Well done, YKTV vibes.
Yep.
I was kidding. This is the last one.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Well done, everybody.
Thank you for the mock trades. Let's do Spotify comments, and we'll wrap up the show.
The audience, 4 for 6, better than the Oilers GMs.
Damn it. Nope.
No? 4 for 10, sorry.
Yeah, that's 40%. That's slightly worse.
Ah, shit.
Then
That should have been an
go.
easy one to figure out.
Yeah.
McDowell's is putting in there how Braden Schneider's numbers suck. What I would say is he is 24 in a terrible situation.
Mm-hmm.
I would take a chance on someone like him, but that's fair. I understand your comment.
Spotify comments. Thank you to everybody who listens to the show on Spotify. Thank you to everybody in the YouTube. Over 6,000 people have already stopped in to view today's episode at some point, and there are currently over 1,100 of you watching. Make time for us live. Get in the YouTube chat. It seems like a good time in there sometimes.
Do you think it was for the mock trades?
Probably for the mock trades.
Damn it. Sorry.
Actually, we really
do
peaked
not
when Pagnotta
compare
popped
me
up.
to Brady Kachuk. My math is fine.
All right. How many Spotify comments are there? A lot?
12.
Oh, wow.
Can I make one more never mind.
Okay.
It's all good. I was just going to say Brady Schneider, McDowell, just because you were looking at the numbers. This is his worst season. It's not that close.
And the Rangers
And
suck.
the Rangers are awful.
Yeah. Ryan is in. I've done some research into Frederick and his extremely slow start. He was injured middle of February last year with a high ankle sprain, and that can take approximately 9 months to fully heal. They tried to play him in April. He instantly re-aggravated the injury, which would reset the schedule. So from Feb 2025, he'd be good to go in November. Now that timetable is April to January. Well, it gets much worse since they played him in the Stanley Cup final in June. The window for him healing is in March. Liam, he's played... Well, he hasn't played in March yet, but he played a game on the last day of February, and son of a bitch, he scored, so I agree with Ryan.
I'm in.
I mean, Freddie actually has been playing good since coming back from the break, so Ryan, I can understand why you have this sort of view of it.
Yep. I think it's completely rational thought. Actually, you know what? 3 days ago.
That was before the game.
This is before the game.
Yeah, so good job, Ryan.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Well done, Ryan.
Ryan, you're good in our books.
Dr. Ryan. Dr. Hunter.
Dr. Hunter. Put a white lab coat on in your photo there and start giving us more injury news. Derek, C- for the trade, but only because it would probably come with a McMahon extension. And I'm so done with the middle $6, $4 to $5 million guys. I want rental veteran players, then go get a superstar like Tuch or Forsberg in the offseason. I'd take younger guys if they have term, though. Okay.
Agreed.
Blake is in. If you can get Henrique to waive, trade him and Mangi, Janmark on LTIR. There's a whole bunch of trades in here. You're not getting Connor McMichael. Your D ones here, Schneider for first and Akey. Yeah, you might be in line there. But Nils Hoglander for a third and Berezhkin, I don't know if I want to do that. You're not getting McMichael, yeah. And also, Adam Henrique came out over the weekend. He has no interest in waiving. So we can probably stop throwing him in trade proposals.
Yeah.
Ask Duvy. Love the show. Been listening for a few years. Love After Dark with Boardsy too. Cup year. Nuge McDavid. This is a projected lineup. Nuge McDavid Hyman, Savoy Draisaitl Roslovic, Podkolzin, Kapanen with someone else down the middle, Lazar, Rico, Freddie. We need a 3C like Mac T or Pekka or Anton Lundell. You're covering a lot of eras. Someone hard to play against. Ryan O'Reilly might be too much. They're not going to get Backlund from Calgary. They're not going to get Lowry from Winnipeg. They might get Bluger from Mangiapane in a third. Let's save our first rounder for an all-star this summer. Yeah, sure. Bluger for Mangiapane in a third. I could see that. Next one. Chandler is in, as he always is. I'd give that McMahon and Klingberg deadline scenario a B+. Oh, yeah, we did that on Friday.
I was trying to think of what the question was. Makes sense now.
McMahon and Klingberg deadline scenario B+, but that's kind of what I'd expect this year. Hope we take a big swing in the summer. My mock trades are OEL for Mangiapane, a first, third, and Jarventi. Mangiapane helps make the money work, and the third is for Toronto to take him, and then the first and prospect for OEL is your logic. Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yep, that's a fair one.
Also, I said Marhala could come up and help the team earlier. I meant Jarventi. Not Marhala.
Mahala's actually not bad, though. Not this year, maybe next year.
Dan is in. This might be a comment for Monday's show, and it might be an interesting talking point. Do you think that with how little the Oilers' style has changed, that there is just too much tape on the team to review in the video room for any team preparing for the Oil, or teams just know the keys to beating them because they get beat in similar ways? I think teams just kind of know that they're not great defensively, and you'll get your chances. And maybe it's a little bit of, and people might laugh at this comparison, but like the countries that went and played Team Canada knew, hey, let's just prevent, and hope we get a rush the other way and score. I think teams against the Oilers also know that they don't have to take a lot of risks 5-on-5. You don't need to be pinching at the blue line. Like, if you don't give the Oilers clear-cut 2-on-1s and breakaways, they're just going to pass around the perimeter and try to execute a perfect play. Like, that's all San Jose did.
Yeah, I just think the Oilers leave a lot of gaps. So, sure, I don't. You're probably not too off on that one. Dan, was that Dan's comment? Thanks, Dan. God, I cannot read these comments. Moody 92.
I don't see the upside in a rumored OEL trade. You gave up significant draft capital you could use in the summer for another 35-year-old left shot D-man who maybe has one more good year left. Feels like a very expensive rental in a season where the chances to go to a cup final don't seem realistic. I think that's fair, Moody. I think that's why you'll see a lot more people. Again, that's why we peddled the Klingberg thing, because it's like he's a worse but cheaper and less expensive OEL, so just go do that.
You know what you got to in Klinger?
I never want to see another no movement clause for as long as I live after this season from
15
Shine.
hours ago. That was right around, just when Mangiapane got put on waivers.
Yeah. My dream deadline from Oilers Hub. Oh, we already read this one.
Oh, we did this
Cool.
one. Thank you for commenting on both Oilers Hub.
Yep. Rowan, just in response to my comment yesterday talking about where I listen to the show, I'm always listening to After Dark right at the start of my shift at the station, or at the start of my shift since I start at 6:30 most days. For music taste, Tyler, honestly, depends on the day. I listen to almost anything. Cool. That sounded sarcastic. It wasn't, but thank you for commenting. Clean is in. Freddie and Mangiapane for Saros. No. Oh, since Arvidsson and Kane are no longer options. That's a throwback comment. Remember last year someone said trade Arvidsson and Kane for Saros? I remember. Boosh Bomber. All I have to say is imagine if it was Nurse instead of Clefbaum. That's mean, but I get where you're coming from. All right. Thank you, everybody. That's a wrap on today's show. I got a trade deadline meeting to get into. Everybody in the Spotify, thank you. Everybody in the YouTube, thank you. Tomorrow, game day edition of the show for Capital Buick GMC. As Edmonton will take on Ottawa, their last game before the trade deadline. They're also back on home.
Trade.
Oh, shit. Well, we got to stay live. The Edmonton Oilers are acquiring Connor Murphy. We got a trade. We have a trade. The Edmonton Oilers. This via Elliot Friedman. Can we start sending out some links on social?
Can I say one thing? No, you go ahead. I was going to say, I just muted someone in the chat because I thought you were punking us because earlier in the show you were trying to punk us. My bad. It's only a 5-minute timeout. You'll be back in a second.
We are live. Connor Murphy, according to Elliot Friedman, talks are intensifying between the Edmonton Oilers and Chicago Blackhawks. Connor Murphy. Let's all guess the return right now. Start sending stuff out on Instagram too. I know we all got jobs to do, but we are staying dead live here to continue on this show until we know the Connor Murphy return. I'm going to say 2027 first round pick, and he's 50% retained, and that's the deal.
I'm going to say
I'm fully expecting them to part ways with the first round pick. And I think he'll be 50% retained.
I think it'll be a second-round pick.
Do you think there's a prospect in there? God, yes. I'm pissed so bad. I was so excited to end the show.
I have to piss.
Get your guesses in the YouTube chat.
I think it'll be a second-round pick, but there will likely be another player, a contract of sorts going back. Connor Murphy, what's his
Do you think it has anything to do with Mangiapane clearing?
Well, this is interesting too, because now, what if... Are these? Why am I not getting Elliot notifications?
I don't know. I got it.
I got it too, but people are like, it's Mangiapane. Or are they just guessing?
No, people are guessing. People are just guessing.
I think Mangiapane could be in a deal.
I think there's a chance. That would make sense. Like, I could see Mangiapane wanting to waive to go to Chicago, big city, all that, somewhat desirable market.
Okay.
Talk to intent.
Yeah, if you want to go piss, I can pull up.
Yeah, sure. Put Liam on, and I'll take a break, and we'll see if we get it.
Because then I'm going to piss after.
Okay.
Okay, we obviously don't have the trade yet. Connor Murphy this season, almost 800 minutes at 5-on-5. Penalty killing for the Chicago Blackhawks. As this refreshes quickly. I believe he is a pretty good penalty killer, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know if anything comes through, Aaron, on trades. Regula in a second, people are guessing. There we go. Connor Murphy leads the Chicago Blackhawks in penalty killing this season, 177 minutes. The Blackhawks, too, if I'm not mistaken, last time we played them, they mentioned this a lot. One of the only teams, only one of two teams, I think them and the Penguins, in the NHL to have a power play in the top 10 of the league and a penalty kill in the top 10 of the NHL. The Blackhawks, the penalty kill is number 1 in the league. So, not terrible. Their power play, too. Still top 10. Still no trade. Connor Murphy leads the Blackhawks in time on ice for penalty killing on a penalty killing unit that is number 1 in the NHL. I don't think it'll be Ike Howard in this trade. It won't be anything that high.
No, and they wouldn't have just recalled Ike Howard if, again, they would have known a couple hours ago that this deal's getting close. Again, Mangiapane or Aki are kind of the only two pieces I could see going the other way that aren't just straight picks. But again, we'll get our answer in a little bit, and we're going to be staying live until we do have an answer on this trade.
Okay, let's see what assets the Oilers currently have. So no first-round pick this season for the Oilers.
Nope.
That is gone in the Jake Wallman deal. They have a second, a third, a sixth, and a seventh next season. First, second, 2 fifths, 6th, 7th. 2028 first-round pick, second-round pick, 2/3. They have everything. I do not suspect it'll be anything too crazy. Looking back at last trade deadline, well, here's the thing. Is he better than Carson Soucy? Would you say they're equal? Carson Soucy was a second-round pick, divisional trade. So that adds it a little bit more. Another top 6 defenseman that was recently moved, Spencer Stasny.
Third-round pick.
Third-round pick.
Connor Murphy, 6'4", so he comes with some size. He was a first-round pick back in 2011. He's played 805 career NHL games. That is crazy that he's played over 800 games in the NHL. In 60 games this season, he has 4 goals, 9 assists, and is a -3. This is a defensive defenseman.
Here's another thing. Brett Kulak was just traded for a second-round defenseman. I know Girardi was in it.
Yeah.
That was a second-round pick because of Samuel Girardi, not because of Brett Kulak.
So, gun to your head, will the Oilers give up a first-round pick?
No.
Okay. Edmonton just put out a release that they've officially recalled Szymanski and Howard. Again, if they wouldn't do the recapture thing with Howard or Szymanski if they were trading one of them away, like that just wouldn't make sense to do. So I don't think Ike Howard's going to be in this deal. I think you've talked me out of giving of the first-round pick being in it. Maybe it's a second in Bo Aki.
The only way I could see it
is you need retention, unless Mangiapane's going out the door. Then
that's
you
the
don't.
only way I could see it being a first, because you currently don't have enough money for this to happen without Mangiapane, because even with 50% retained, Connor Murphy is still $2 million.
Yeah, you're right.
Unless
they're just going to send... So, they called up Szymanski and Ike Howard to capture their LTIR space. They could turn around and send them both back down and have enough money to get Murphy at 50% retained. So that could be the path to them getting 50% retained.
Yes, that could be the way. But currently now the Oilers do not have the cap space.
If you're just joining us right now, you're just popping in the stream, wondering why we're still going long. The Edmonton Oilers, according to Elliot Friedman, talks are intensifying between the Oilers and Blackhawks on a potential Connor Murphy trade.
I'm going to change the title of the show, Aaron.
Yeah, it should be. Jay Fresh, we obviously trust his analysis on these things. He's the guy who puts out those player cards on Twitter. He has Connor Murphy as a 75% WAR player. His even strength offense is 25%. His even strength defense is all the way up at 95%. So again, defensive defenseman is what we're doing here. This isn't even a guy... This isn't a Matthias Ekholm-esque deal where Ekholm was like an elite... I'd call Ekholm a two-way defenseman. This is a defensive specialist in Connor Murphy. He is a pending UFA at a $4 million cap hit. $4.4 million cap hit. Mm-hmm. So 50% retained, 2.2. One of Howard or Szymanski goes back down. You can make this work at 50% retained without Andrew Mangiapane going out the door. But again, Oilers making a move for a defensive defenseman here in Connor Murphy. We're gonna keep waiting here until we get the full return. I'm not in a rush.
Can you pull up the lines from practice today, Aaron, when you get a second? Because obviously the Oilers, we didn't talk about the lines at all previously, but the Oilers did change up their defensive pairings today, which is Wallman, Bouchard, Nurse, Emberson, Ekholm, Stasny. Do you think this is as simple as Stasny comes out of the lineup? I think this is, sorry, not to put anything on Tony. I think Nurse and Ekholm pairing is switched, and it would be Ekholm, Murphy, Nurse, Emberson. The reason I pick out Stasny is for the obvious reason. He's not a right shot defenseman.
Do you think there's any chance, if they have to free up a little bit more money, that Ty Emberson's in this deal?
I do. What I would say, I think that would be a mistake.
I just hate losing the depth, yeah.
The depth, I think Emerson's been good. I actually think he's been one of your more reliable defensemen outside of, honestly, he's been your third best defenseman this season. And I do not think that's a stretch at all. Nurse, sorry, definitely not Nurse. Bouchard and Ekholm were who the two I would have ahead.
The reason I'd speculate on one of Stasny or Emberson potentially being in this deal is, do you know how many defensemen over the age of 25 Chicago has signed for next season?
Zero.
Every D-man they have on their books for next year is below 25 years old. Alex Vlasic will turn 25 next year.
But
I could see them being like, you know what?
I just don't know if Edmonton would be the place they would look and be like, let's get one of their defensemen. Good. Wow.
I just think they might like him because he is signed and he is a vet who can eat, or I'll use air quotes around vet, more veteran than the guys they have.
I bet most of the defensemen have played more games than Emberson. Emerson's only played like 100 and I guess we're partially through. He's probably close to 200 games.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I'm wrong.
They have a lot of guys though, like Sam Renzel, who's in his first full season and stuff, right? Artem Levshunov, who I know was a top 5 pick, but again, he's only played a season. What if, and now I'm purely speculating here, do you feel better if Emberson's in the deal if Matt Grzelcyk's coming back too?
My boy.
But like, all jokes aside about it being your boy, right? It's like, okay, next year you still have Stasny, who you're probably going to sign. Maybe they just like Stasny more than they like Emberson. So, mistaken Mexican, is Chicago stupid enough to trade Knight? No way. No. The only, we speculated on Ilya Mikheyev earlier on in the show, maybe being another piece. Like, who knows how big this deal gets? All we know is that there is a Connor Murphy trade that is
in the works.
Intensifying. There you go. Those are good words. We don't know if there's other pieces. We don't know if it's as simple as Connor Murphy 50% retained for a second-round pick. Like, we don't know anything here. Mm-hmm. We just know it's Murphy and Edmonton. So that's why I'm throwing out all these other hypotheticals.
Do you think that our friend could come back on the show once things get announced?
Dave Pagnotta. I mean, I could text him.
Yeah, let's see what he's doing. So we'll see. I do not think Emerson would be in this deal. Just for the reason of, like, if something bad was to happen, you're really, really screwed.
Yeah.
If you lose another defenseman, the only way would be, like you said, if another guy is coming back. Maybe that gets a bit too complicated after that, though. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. I like the acquisition, though. I think this is what the Oilers need. They need a guy who's focused on playing D.
Yeah.
Because right now, who's the guy on their blue line that is focused on playing D? Like, really, like, all of them have the idea. Like, I think Ekholm is their best defensive style defenseman, sure. Mm-hmm. But he also wants to be up the ice playing. I just don't think the Oilers have a guy like this. And I think, there you go, there's his numbers. 805 games, 173 points. He's not going to provide much offense, but he can skate and he can move the puck well enough.
Yeah. The only way, again, Alec Regula's...
It doesn't make sense for them to do that right now because it's no cap hit.
Yeah.
And the others need to get money off the Bucks.
And again, he's depth. Like, I know people are saying he can't play playoff games for you. I would rather have Regula than Josh Brown playing playoff games for me. And you usually need 8 guys to get through a long playoff run. So
yes, I agree. I'm probably a guy, too, if we want to get really far ahead of ourselves, that would have interest in re-signing here.
Murphy?
He's never really played on top teams. Like, even I know he's been in Chicago his entire career, but if I'm not mistaken, there's only been 1, maybe 2 years when they made the playoffs. Ironically, one of the years was when they beat, the only year was when they beat the Oilers in those qualifying games. And that's the only time he's ever played in the playoffs. He's 32 years old. I'm sure he's a guy who wants to start playing on the right side of hockey games here towards the end of his career.
User is in. Is he good, mid, or what? If you're a believer in the analytics, you can take a peek at this page here. He's going to give you no offense. He is going to give you defense. If you wanted someone who's going to break up cycles and be a steadying presence on the blue line, Connor Murphy is your guy. I actually am like a Murphy-Wallman duo is kind of like is that like a really nice complete pairing that you can trust in a bunch of different scenarios?
Probably. I'm just looking here as well. He's plus minus. Again, you can always take that for what it's worth. He was -2 on the Blackhawks last season, -3 this season. We got the deal.
No, we don't have the deal yet. I need you to go on full screen for a second because I need to go get my laptop charger. My laptop's almost dead.
So last season, Connor Murphy was -2 on the Blackhawks. The only defenseman with a better plus-minus than him was Wyatt Kaiser, who was 0. And this season, he is -3 in 60 games. The only defenseman better than him, Sam Rinzel, who's played half the games, he's -1. Luis Crevier, who's that 6'7" monster, 6'8" monster, -2. So Blackhawks definitely got a bit better defensively this year because of Spencer Knight helping them out. But I think those numbers from the past couple of years with Connor Murphy are still quite important as well. Throughout his career, only -66, and he's never been on like a good Blackhawks team. So I think this is a good acquisition for the Oilers. Whatever, well, good. It's good right now, and we don't even know what the deal is going to be.
Connor Murphy on and off the ice at 5-on-5. This is actually pretty funny. So with Connor Murphy on the ice at 5-on-5, they are -4 this year at 5-on-5. With Connor Murphy off the ice this year, they are -26. So again, if you're a believer in the with or without you numbers, with Connor Murphy on the ice at 5-on-5, -4. Connor Murphy off the ice, they are getting outscored by 26 goals. You know what's actually interesting? I'll look this up, is how he does with and without Bedard too. Because obviously Connor Bedard's going to skew that in a certain way. With both Bedard and Murphy on the ice, +4 at 5-on-5. Bedard without Murphy goes to -6. Murphy without Bedard goes to -8. With both of them off the ice, -20. So again, that is just me including Connor Bedard, because obviously when he's on the ice, a lot of good things are going to happen. But I do think it's a little telling that, again, it's not like his numbers are only good because he plays with Connor Bedard or anything like that. His numbers with Bedard, without Bedard, pretty even. And then Chicago's numbers with both of them off the ice, just absolutely crater. So this is clearly a guy who takes tough assignments and puts up some pretty good numbers.
Yeah. And I think the Oilers do need someone like that. Seems to have good penalty killing numbers as well. Who would that eliminate from the penalty kill?
For the Oilers?
Who are they currently playing? I guess
Well,
make him a forward, change up Janmark.
Along those lines, does it make you think, again, that one of their current penalty-killing defensemen is maybe in this deal?
No, I still don't think that.
Someone said plus-minus is overrated.
It is overrated.
I'm not going to sit here and solely judge a guy based on it. But
when everyone else has a terrible one, I think it says something. It's not a good stat, though. I do agree.
And I think, again, it's not a good stat in isolation. You need to use it in conjunction with other numbers. If Connor Murphy is -3, and now I'm just spewing here, if Connor Murphy is -3 and every other defenseman is -30, that probably means Connor Murphy's doing pretty good in a bad situation. It's like everyone who's bringing up Braden Schneider's numbers and being like, he's terrible. Well.
Yeah. Andrew's in, he said, not the answer. Well, we'll see.
But he could help.
He does help. He does help things. I don't think this would be the Oilers' only move based off what they could potentially have available for them for cap.
Yep.
I think they will have one more move.
Penalty kill time on ice per game this year. Bouchard's number 1. Ekholm's number 2. Stasny's 3. Emberson's 4. Nurse is 5. Wallman 6.
I would suspect Stasny probably comes off the penalty. Is that penalty kill, sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would suspect he comes off.
Yeah, maybe Stasny comes out.
He's just... You don't need him on the penalty kill.
No.
Maybe he can provide a bit more of you at 5-on-5. Or maybe he's not in the lineup. How about that one, too? Mm-hmm. He's kind of been locked in because there's nobody else. So,
again, if this is a first and other stuff, I'll sit here and say overpay. If this is a second, I'll say good deal. You're getting a guy who can help.
it has to be retention for me if there's a second round picking. That's gone.
Yeah, well, or Mangiapane's out the door, which,
Yeah.
again, I'm fine with, because even if you don't get retention on Murphy, but it's Mangiapane out the door, you freed up that money for next year. And now in the summer, you're looking even better. Whether you re-sign Murphy, who cares? You're freeing up money.
Yes.
How long do we go here before we just accept we might not get the return?
I know. That's what I was just thinking, too. We might have to come back a bit later on, unless there's anything new, Aaron, that you're seeing out there.
I got nothing new.
It's all quiet. I don't want to be like wasting anybody's time here. Again, Friedman just kind of saying talks are intensifying around Murphy. Insiders speak that they usually tweet that when they get the heads up that the deal's done.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, too. We wouldn't just kind of throw that out there. My soccer game isn't until 9 tonight.
Okay.
So I got plenty of time between.
We got no oil game. We're good.
No Oilers game. We're chilling.
Yeah.
While I have you all here, tune into After Dark and pre-gaming tomorrow.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we'll watch pre-gaming tomorrow.
Edmonton taking on Ottawa tomorrow, by the way, as they return home from their 3-game
and
road
like the
trip.
video.
Like the video while you're here. To me, this is a move for a player somewhat similar to Adam Larson for Trevor. Yeah, like similar in the sense of defense first, big body, kills penalties, like all of those things.
Yeah, and I think this could be a positive ad for the Oilers. Did we hit up Pagnotta for an ETA? We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We will see.
First domino to fall. The Oilers made a similar move last season, I would say, in the timeline of the trade deadline. With, was it Frederick or Wallman that came first? One of them came earlier in the week, I do remember.
I think it was Wallman who
Came earlier in the
yeah.
week. So, yeah, that was a bit of an more of an evening one, I guess you could say.
Yeah, because we were about to start a pregame show, actually, when
That's right,
they made
yes.
the Wallman deal.
Yes, they were.
And Freddie might have came first, because that was right before I drove into work that day.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, these are things we can
Trent
definitely
Frederick, March 4th. Jake Wallman, over under. Any guesses?
I don't remember. I'm so bad at this.
After. 3 days after. So that was on March 7th. I think Wallman was traded the day before the deadline.
And Freddie was earlier.
Yeah.
If we want to kill time, I got the flag game here too, just in case.
I mean, no,
Gotta
if we're
do
going
the
to do
flag
that,
game.
we'll just wrap up. I know some people, like I saw Kevin McCurdy posted his Connor Murphy's natural stat trick page. I think it's really unfair to judge a defensive defenseman who has played 800 games in the NHL and has only played 9 playoff games in his career. Like his 9 playoff games, you know what year that came? That was the bubble, the year the Oilers lost to the Hawks.
Yeah, it was the play-in. Like, I mentioned that.
They were a 12 seed, sorry.
Yeah.
They were a 12 seed. Like, this guy's never been on a true playoff caliber hockey team, so I don't know if I really want to judge his numbers based on that.
No, I'm not going to judge his numbers based off that at all, to be honest. So I think that Mark Spector just posted too. Connor Murphy isn't going to pile up any numbers, but he's 6'4", 212 pounds. And he's the first guy over the boards in Chicago on the NHL's best penalty kill unit this season. A defenseman which certainly cannot hurt in Edmonton. And I completely agree.
Yep.
I completely agree. I think the Oilers need a guy again who is focused on playing some defense. So yeah, it's a fair point from Spector. The penalty kill in Chicago has been, well, there are special teams in general, but the fact that penalty kill is number 1 in the NHL. And the Oilers are getting a player from that penalty kill, I would say, is a very good thing. I know people love Janmark, and he's not a defenseman by any means, but he's a penalty killer. There's no denying it. We see him out there. Adding another guy to the penalty kill is a positive. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't think the Oilers are done.
This is not, again, you don't go acquire...
I was going to say, unless there's a bit more to this, I would suspect there's more to this, more trades to come.
Yeah, you don't go and acquire a rental D-man if that's the only thing you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, same thing with the Jari trade when we said in the moment, like, oh man, we didn't like it because we said keep your assets dry and aim for a bigger goalie in the summer. This is another signal that I think they're pretty committed to giving this year's team every opportunity possible to go on a run and every tool they need to fix their issues and go on a playoff run. Because, again, I think if you weren't a full-on believer in this year's team, you probably would have been shopping more for the guys with term, who we presume would be more expensive. But like this takes you out of the OEL conversation. This takes you out of the Ristolainen conversation and all of those guys. This takes you out of the Justin Faulk conversation, which also probably tells us, Liam, that they checked in on all those guys and went, oh shit, those price tags are high. We're good.
It would tell me too, all three of those teams were like, we want a first round pick, and maybe the others didn't want to float that.
Yeah, maybe. So maybe that's a sign that this is going to be less than a first.
A little bit less. That's what I would think. If those deals were all so high, and I would suspect that they all include the first round pick plus, honestly, I wouldn't be disappointed that they traded down to get a Connor Murphy. You could probably have, I don't think it would be as impactful because I don't think he provides the offense. Those, well, just Ekholm, Larson, and Justin Faulk would add, I guess. Ristolainen, not so much. Then this would be a good trade. That I think people are just saying three-way trades are fun. There is no way this is a three-way trade.
Well, remember, they closed the double retention loophole. So there can't be a world where they, like they did with Freddie last year, where you trade, where Murphy gets traded to New Jersey and they keep 50%, then trade him to Edmonton at another 50%. You cannot do that. So, yeah, this is going to be some amount of a...
I was just reading that one.
DJ Bean, Connor Murphy is the exact type of pickup I wanted for the Oilers defensively. Don't mind them giving up. Don't want them giving up a lot, and don't think Murphy should cost a lot. Then again, Stan Bowman is the GM. Fingers crossed. I mean, yeah. Did the Hawks have the Oilers in a bind here, where they go, we have the best defensive rental on the market. You're desperate for D help. Are you going to do this thing or not? I don't know. It shouldn't. I think with other guys like OEL and Faulk on the market, even Jamie Alexiak's on the market, this wasn't the only guy on the market. He was one of the only pure rentals, but he's not the only one, so that makes me think the cost isn't going to be all that bad.
Yeah, I would think so too. I don't think this is more than a second. If it's more than a second, I'll be upset. And by more than a second, I mean your highest asset is a second round pick. It might be like a second and a fifth, for example.
Yeah. If it's a first, but you're out of Mangiapane, is that okay? Like, what if Chicago said...
Yeah, I don't think it's okay because Mangiapane has turned into such a bad asset for you all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think that would be okay. Because Samuel Girard, I think, is obviously a better player. But like the cost to get rid of guys can't be a first round pick in season. Mm-hmm. So I'd be off board on that. I wouldn't be very happy.
Yeah, I feel like a second at 50% retained for Murphy is probably a fair deal in all of this.
Yeah.
Again, maybe he's a guy who should be worth a third, but you're retaining, so it's a little bit more. So I could see that. Yes, they do get another Connor. A second at 50% retained. Yes. See, and what makes me nervous is like, okay, if you're going all the way up to a first because you want Mangiapane included, to me, that should signal that you have another move ready to go. But then if you want a McMahon or whatever, you might need your first for a Bobby McMahon, right? Although McMahon's return should be closer to like what Frederick was last year. But the Oilers, do they have a second this year? Yes, they do.
They do.
They have a second round pick in each of the next 3 drafts. I could see 2 of those being done by the end of the day.
Luke Shem was traded last year for a second round pick and a 4th round pick to Winnipeg.
Okay.
Colin Miller was a 4th round pick. No retention on either of those deals.
Man, they give up a lot for Luke Shen.
Maybe there was retention on the Shen deal, and I forgot to note it. Andrew Peake a couple of years ago in Boston was for Jacob Zobril in a 3rd round pick. Eric Johnson was a 4th round pick. No retention. Joel Edmondson was a 3rd and a 5th to Toronto.
So maybe it's a 2nd and a 5th.
With 50% retained. Ilya Labushkin.
What did he go for?
Well, that was 75% retained. That was a 3rd round pick and a 6th round pick to Carolina.
It might be a 2nd, and they have an extra 5th rounder in 2027. I could see it being this year's 2nd and a 2027 5th. Mm-hmm. And like, hey, there you go. We paid for the retention. Because the other thing to keep in mind is there's only 20 games left in the season. So there's roughly, a quarter or less than a quarter of the NHL's like salary year. So when you're getting 50% retained, that's $2.1 million. We're talking about Chicago having to pay like $400,000 in real cash. Like, it's not a substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
It's not like Chicago's cutting a check for $2.1 million. Like, they still got the player for the bulk of the season.
Yeah. People talking, McMahon also wants 5.5 for 5 years. I think McMahon can ask for that. I don't think he's going to get it.
I was going to say, people can want everything. You can want whatever you want. Doesn't mean you're going to get it.
Yeah. Panarin, again, we talked about it the other day. He ain't that much. Oh.
Okay, well, should we wrap? I mean, I don't know if we're getting it.
We can wrap and then just come back.
Yeah, if the return is like stunning, we'll come back. Maybe we'll even just like record a YouTube video if the return is not stunning.
We can always go live for 20, 30 minutes or so too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I think we're going to wrap up, everybody. I know there's a lot of you in the YouTube chat right now, and you are patiently waiting for what this return could be. We are waiting as well. But I just don't think we have anything else to say on the trade until we know what it is.
There's only so much Connor Murphy talk you can get to. And hopefully when he becomes an Edmonton Oiler, we never talk about him.
Yeah.
In a positive way. You're like, hey, Connor Murphy again on the ice for...
Or like their penalty kills top 5 from now to the end of the year. And we're like, shit, Connor Murphy was really good.
That would be great. One thing, my final comments, I guess you could say, would be... I'm glad the Oilers are putting their money where their mouth is in the sense of like, we want defensive players and we are getting this, what should be a pretty solid defensive ad. Maybe we can start to speculate a little bit more on who this third line center can be after we see the money that's going in and out for Connor Murphy.
Okay. All right. We will wrap this bad boy up. And we will talk to you all once we know what the return on the deal is. But we've been streaming for like 2 hours now, and I don't want to just keep sitting here and saying, I hope it's a second-round pick, not a first-round pick.
Send in your Connor Murphy mock trade.
Yeah, sure. Drop them down, whatever. One more shout-out to our friends at Bet365. Download the app, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Giddy up. Thank you, everybody. We will see you maybe later, maybe tomorrow. Maybe whenever Connor Murphy officially becomes an Edmonton Oiler, but we'll leave you with that. Oil up. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Every Day, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.